Chapter 947. If they did, what if the paparazzi exposed Shui and Xianxi's scandals? However, if they didn't, they felt that they would be letting Shui and Xianxi down. In the conference room, the judges were extremely anxious until a certain director who was drinking mung bean soup slowly said, "Why don't we just move the variety show awards to after 8 o'clock? Everyone was speechless. Damn, is that even possible? However, it was really a good idea. If the scandals that were exposed were harmless, the award would definitely be given. If the scandals were exposed, they would immediately switch to another show. The atmosphere in the room suddenly became much more relaxed. Dear viewers, this is the venue for the National Television Program Award ceremony. Let's turn the camera to the hosts of tonight's ceremony. The two live hosts completed their task and the camera then switched to the stage. The stage was decorated magnificently and the bright lights were shining. The four hosts were all dressed in suits or gowns and smiled at the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, guests present, fans present, as well as friends watching the live broadcast in front of your screens, how do you do? It's another summer. The hosts gave a cameo speech. The executive director probably knew that the live broadcast audience didn't like to hear such things. So he switched the camera back and forth and gave a lot of close-up shots of the popular hosts, directors, and artists. In terms of popularity, variety shows were obviously more popular. Among the variety shows, Two Under One Roof was naturally the most popular. When the camera panned across several other variety shows, there were also a lot of bullet screen comments. But when the camera fell on the crew of Two Under One Roof, the screen was flooded with bullet screen comments. The popularity of the show were simply terrifying. In the dispatch room, the executive director immediately gave Two Under One Roof a lot of screen time. They invited the famous boy group C7 for the opening performance. After the host announced the acts, the on-site staff began to prepare the stage props. Taking advantage of this gap, Xianxi whispered to Shui, "If only we brought Xiao Naofu along. It's so fond of crowds, it would definitely be very happy." However, Li Jianyu and Ruan Qing only thought that she had a second personality, and that Xiao Naofu was just an ordinary kitten. After some consideration, they decided not to bring Xiao Naofu along. Xianxi felt a little regretful and asked Xiao Naofu for its opinion, but it also said that it didn't want to come. However, Shui chuckled softly and patted the pocket of his suit. Swish! A fluffy and white cat head popped out. The kitten raised its two pointy ears and meowed at Xianxi. "It's cute. Hee hee, stupid woman, this hoo-hoo and that dog man teamed up to trick you." Xianxi was surprised and happy. She whispered, "Xiao Naofu." The live stream was boiling with excitement. "Aw, Green Tea Meow is here too. That's great. A family should be together. If only little Shiji were here. It's so strange, the official Weibo account hasn't posted any updates about little Shiji. Could it be that little Shiji is sick? Oh my god, I'm too easily moved to tears." As soon as Xiao Naofu appeared, my tears came out. "Wah, Shui, you can do it. Good luck, Sister E. Let's do our best too." When the director of another variety show next door saw Xiao Naofu appear, his eyes immediately lit up. The opportunity to embarrass Two Under One Roof has come. This is like giving me a pillow when I'm sleepy. Chapter 948. He covered his mouth with his hand and coughed twice. Taking advantage of the change in camera angle, he turned his head and said with a smile, "Xiao Naofu is so good-looking. I've never seen such a cute kitten before. Can you rub it for me?" He thought that since he was a famous director in the variety industry, and Shui might have to deal with him if she continued to take on variety shows in the future, she would at least give him some face. Unexpectedly, Shui smiled and said, "No." The director was speechless. Unwilling to give up, he faked a smile and said, "Oh, Xiao Naofu, come let uncle rub your head." When his hand was still a dozen centimeters away from Xiao Naofu's head, the kitten let out a fierce howl. One of the many cheats that Little White Tiger had given it, Tiger's Roar, had taken effect. The director trembled. For some reason, he felt that the cute kitten in front of him was scarier than a tiger. Coincidentally, the biased camera cut over again. While filming Shui and Xiangxi, it also captured the scene of the director shivering. Some netizens were puzzled. What's going on? Does Director Yen of this outdoor survival variety show have Parkinson's disease? Director Yen refused to give up. After the fear in his heart dissipated, he continued, A cat is a cat after all. It's different from a dog. A dog knows how to guard the house, but what does a cat know? Raising a cat, no matter how much you raise it, it will never mature. Shui smiled but didn't say anything. It seems that Xianxia agrees with my point of view? Director Yen looked so ordinary, but he was so confident. How can we let a cat come to such a grand occasion? What if it scratches someone? They'll have to get a rabies vaccine. Xianxia, you're the main character tonight. It's not convenient for you to go out. How about I send this cat away for you? Director Yen pretended to hug the cat, but Xiao Naofu scratched him fiercely. A bloody mark appeared on the back of his hand. Director Yen yelled, "Oh, why is your cat scratching people? It's like a stray cat. Xianxia, why did you bring a beast here? If the netizens see this, it'll be embarrassing." He deliberately raised his voice, trying to attract the camera's attention, but when he turned his head, he found the camera was focused on them from start to finish. Director Yen? Where? How could there be fixed guests at such a big event? His face suddenly turned pale as he realized that his actions had been witnessed by the netizens. I'm confused. Is this Director Yen a drama queen? I'm full of question marks. You were the one who provoked Xiao Naofu first, okay? What bad intentions does the kitten have? It just didn't want the strange and greasy uncle to touch it. It was just self-defense, but it turned right and wrong into a stray cat. Our Axe is really pitiful. Director Yen never expected that he would end up being the funniest clown in the industry. He wanted to slander and frame Xiao Naofu, thereby causing netizens to be dissatisfied with Shui, Xianxia, and even two under one roof. He wanted to cry but had no tears. He was so regretful that his intestines had turned green. At this moment, the opening dance performance began. The youngsters from C7 had brought him a perfect stage. They were the center of attention. At the end of the performance, the host smiled and asked, "Thank you to C7 for bringing us such a wonderful performance. How do you feel now?" Jiang Chen took the microphone. Gazing at Xianxia, who was in the audience, he said sincerely, "At this moment, I want to thank my sister the most." Chapter 949. Host. She was dumbfounded but still maintained her standard smile. The next second, she saw the delicate-looking teenager bow towards a certain direction below the stage. "Sister Xianxia, thank you. You're the one who made me reborn." Immediately, a teammate snatched the microphone from him. "You're breaking the rules. We agreed to thank her together." "No, I have to thank my sister Xianxia too." The others followed suit, and for a moment, the entire venue echoed with the words, "Thank you, my sister Xianxia." There was a burst of good-natured laughter, and the camera cut to a close-up of Xianxia. The girl's eyebrows curved into crescents as she waved at the teenagers on the stage. The C7 boys were extremely excited. They were truly grateful to Xianxia. Without Xianxia, there would not be today's C7. It was Xianxia who reignited their group spirit and gave them a stage again. Before stepping off the stage, the boys shouted the slogan that they had rehearsed countless times in unison and loud. "Come on, sister. You'll definitely win an award." The young and lively teenagers, although still very childish, were particularly moving. Some of the audience couldn't help but tear up. The C7 boys are too good. Those who call them ungrateful should shut up. They really remember how good Xianxia is. Then, it was time for the news program awards. After several awards were given, another guest came on stage to perform. This time, it was Zhou Yan, who was known as the legendary singer in the industry. To everyone's surprise, the piano accompaniment was Su Ran Dong. One of them was wearing a wine-red sequined suit and was the focus of the crowd as usual. The other was wearing a low-key gray suit and sat quietly in front of the piano. His expression was indifferent, but when his eyes met Zhou Yan's, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. The melodious sound of the piano and the clear voice produced a magical chemical effect. The netizens exclaimed, "What kind of godly collaboration is this?" Similarly, when the two were interviewed by the host, they said similar words to the C7 boys. "Thank you, Brother E, for introducing us to the doctor. My ears have recovered a lot, and Dong Dong is in great condition too," Su Rendong whispered. "Don't call me Dong Dong." Zhou Yan made a face at him, as if time had not left any traces on his character, and he was still that childish brat. Su Rendong shook his head helplessly. This interaction became a must-have for fans to edit their fan videos, and then, the guests were the famous director Yan, the veteran actress Xianxia, Mama Yin, the best actress Zhong Yi, the artist Tianji, the starlet Su Tumi, and so on. Some were the guest presenters, while others were the guest performers. Everyone expressed their gratitude to Xiangyi. In the live stream, ha 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 ha, is Sister Yi's commendation ceremony tonight? Xiangyi is really a little princess that everyone dotes on. Everyone is actually helping her fight against public opinion. That #1 paparazzi is really annoying. Woo-woo, everyone is fine. They're probably worried that the judges won't give Sister Yi, Shengdi, and the others an award because of the leak. Sigh, I hope the results won't be affected. It was close to 8 o'clock, but the variety show awards had yet to be presented. Everyone immediately understood that the program team had postponed it. However, everyone was also worried that the #1 paparazzi would not keep his promise and delay the release of the leak. In the blink of an eye, it was 8 o'clock sharp. The #1 paparazzi stuck on the dot and updated his big news. Just as he had predicted, the Weibo server was paralyzed in just a few minutes. Chapter 950. Paparazzi #1 v. A certain couple of top stars in a variety show who fell in love and got engaged are suspected to be having sex overseas. This boy and girl are their children. Along with the Weibo post, there were 2 photos of the cute babies. The netizens were stunned. These 2 little buns actually looked like Shui and Xiangyi. In the photo, there was a boy and a girl. The girl was standing, holding a lollipop that was bigger than her face, while the boy was sitting on the ground. His height couldn't be seen clearly, but because he was pale and thin, he looked about the same age as the girl. Hence, the netizens went crazy. Oh no, there's too much to say. So it's a boy and a girl twins. CP fans still have the cheek to say that? Sex is illegal. This little girl looks like she's 4 or 5 years old. At that time, Xiangyi was still underage, right? Shui got together with her? Haha, I knew it. Variety shows have scripts. A bunch of people keep criticizing me. Do you really believe in love at first sight? Then, they slowly developed feelings for each other on the show? Anyway, I don't believe it. The scriptwriter must have written the script in advance, and the 2 of them acted according to the script. They must have been together long ago. Maybe Shui even violated an underage girl. I suggest a strict investigation. If you don't stand upright, you'll lose your virtue. Do things with talent and do things with virtue. How can we let such an artist continue to earn our money? Do you think we're leaks? The netizens' reactions were like a prairie fire, burning wantonly. Countless people saw the photo and immediately started criticizing. The judges of the Golden TV Awards immediately started voting. Those who agree to the award, write 1 on the slip of paper. Those who disagree, write 2 on the slip of paper. If it's blank, it'll be considered a waiver. Soon, the results of the voting were out. 2 abstained, 6 disagreed, and 13 agreed. The conference room was silent, like the calm before a storm. Then, let's do it this way. Hurry up and inform everyone. The next second, a judge stood up. Wait a minute. The tables have turned. What tables? It's a foregone conclusion. Don't say anything else. Why? Are they going to explain that the child came out of Xiangyi's stomach? Wouldn't that be even more ridiculous? A 21-year-old girl giving birth to a 4 or 5-year-old child, which involves minors, is even worse. Bullshit. What do you mean by having children or not? That's definitely not Shui and Xiangyi's child. Do you think I'm wrong just because you say so? Wasn't the photo verified by a professional? The judge said bitterly, that's right. The photos are real. However, the 2 children in the photo were Shui and Xiangyi's childhood photos. It's a picture of them when they were young. The judges were speechless. Next up is the Best Creative Variety Award, and the winner is 2 Under One Roof. Congratulations! The guest presenter finished his speech and took the initiative to clap. Below the stage, the members of the small show program team were still quite calm. The value of this award wasn't too high. The most popular variety show and the most popular variety show guest were the highlight. Li Jianghu went on stage to receive the award. He had prepared a script in advance, so he didn't seem to be nervous. He even made a few jokes. Then there were a few trivial awards, and then, most popular variety show. The drumbeats were rapid and stirred people's hearts. Congratulations to Two Under One Roof. There was a wave of applause. Li Jianyu, who was still calm and composed just now, was stunned on the spot. Chapter 951. I've won an award? There was a lot of commotion around him. His mind, however, was completely blank. He could only feel his heartbeat pounding non-stop. His heart was about to jump out of his chest. Congratulations! Xianxia's soft and smiling voice reached Li Jianyu's ears, and he suddenly came back to his senses. Wah! Li Jianyu howled loudly. It could be said that a fierce man was shedding tears. The camera panned over and recorded the scene of Li Jianyu throwing himself into Wan Qing's arms and burying his head in agony, while Shui and Xianxia looked at each other and smiled. The host joked, "Men are still young even in death." Indeed, they didn't lie. There was a burst of laughter at the scene. Li Jianyu was crying so hard that his tears and snot were flowing out. He sobbed and said, "I'm sorry, I dirtied your dress." "It's okay." Wan Qing's smile was as beautiful as a flower. "Just compensate me with 10 pieces later." "Oh right, do you know the price of this dress?" "Ha!" Li Jianyu thought. "It's just a dress. How expensive can it be?" Wan Qing opened her red lips slightly and blurted out a number that made Li Jianyu's soul tremble. Li Jianyu was shocked. Li Jianyu stopped crying. He sniffled and was in a trance. Xianxia handed him a tissue in time, but Li Jianyu was so stunned that he forgot to take it. Wan Qing, who had been scaring Li Jianyu just now, was now carefully wiping his tears and snot with a tissue. "Go ahead. It's an honor that belongs to you. You're the one who gave this grand miracle the starting point." Li Jianyu's nose turned sour as he grabbed her hand and said in a sobbing voice, "It's not just mine, it's all of ours." In the live stream, countless people cried because of Li Jianyu's words. "I'm so happy to cry. Sob, 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 everyone is so gentle. Two Under One Roof will always be a god. Director Li Jianyu will always be a god. The best director in the world, the best guest in the world, and the best little drama in the world, Red Heart." According to tradition, the most popular variety award would be received by the director. The host smiled and said, "Why don't we invite everyone from the program team to come up and receive the award together?" As a loyal fan of Two Under One Roof, he was just being a little selfish. Thus, Li Jianyu, Wan Qing, Xianxia, Shui, and the representatives from various departments went up the stage. Shui gently pushed Li Jianyu to the front of the standing Mai. Li Jianyu was extremely nervous. He was no longer as calm and composed as when he had just won the award. He trembled as he patted the microphone, making a bang-bang sound. "Hello, hello, hello!" The guests below the stage laughed, and so did the netizens in the live stream. This was their boss, Director Li. Li Jianyu opened his mouth and wanted to repeat the script he had prepared, but he couldn't remember a single word. He scratched his head. "I forgot my lines." Everyone laughed even louder. Li Jianyu also giggled foolishly. "Forget it then. There are many things in life that don't go your way. I won't get angry if others get angry, but no one will take their place if they get sick. I'm really, really honored to be able to win this award. On the day of my 19th birthday, I went to the TV station for an internship. At that time, I was wearing a work tag and I thought to myself, I must become a very good director in the future. Then I felt that I was being ridiculous. How was that possible? Today, I finally have enough courage and confidence to tell my 19-year-old self that my dream has come true." Chapter 952. Li Jianyu raised the trophy and said, "Thank you to everyone who has helped me since the preparation of Two Under One Roof. Thank you to my Qingqing, thank you to Shui, Sister E, and most importantly, thank you to the audience." "Thank you, everyone." Li Jianyu bowed deeply to the audience. Xianxia clapped her hands vigorously while Xiao Naofu imitated her and clapped with its paws. Shui's eyes were gentle and her gaze remained fixed on the young girl. In front of the screen, the other nominated variety show staff members had complicated emotions in their eyes. They also wanted to go to the venue. However, the director's words of "you're not qualified" extinguished their hopes. At first, they felt that it was only right and proper that they weren't worthy. However, when they saw so many staff members of two under one roof, standing on stage and receiving the award together, they still felt they were envious. At the award ceremony, everyone got off the stage and the awards for production were presented. Several variety shows had won awards for music, special effects, art, and other categories. The traffic in the live stream was obviously much lower. When the award for the most popular male guest of the variety show began, the traffic instantly increased at an astonishing speed. It's coming! Ah, Shui go! Ha, two under one roof has already won a heavyweight award. How can the judges give another heavyweight award? Even a fool would know that it was impossible. Brothering, you can do it. The most popular male guest must be you. Shui's scandal is still on the hot search list. The judges are so fair and impartial, they definitely won't trip up a band artist. Xianxia, you can do it. If you get an award today, you can look forward to it in the future. I'm dying of laughter. Tomato Entertainment and Sichuanbai's and Anan's managers have already clarified the matter regarding Shui and Xianxia. Didn't you see that? Those two photos are of Shui and Xianxia's childhood. It's obvious that they're just in a crisis. Shui and Xianxia are 7 years apart, but in the photos, they look like they're the same age. Those statements are just to deceive fools like you. The live broadcast room was in an uproar. Fans from various families were attacking and tearing each other apart. It was a bloody scene. Shui's sister, who had always been known for her fighting prowess, was now extremely passive. She even posted sayings such as, "Don't be angry, Shui is not good enough," and "Shui is not worthy," which made the fans extremely confused. Could this be the legendary saying, "One who stays with ink will be stained black, and one who stays with rabbits will be Buddha"? In fact, many of the Shui sisters were very nervous. Although Shui's main profession was an actor, everyone wanted his first variety show to be recognized. The person who presented the award was a highly respected producer. He was the pioneer of domestic variety shows and had single-handedly created several popular shows. The producer opened the envelope and looked at the name on it. A rare smile appeared on his usually serious face. I think this award is well-deserved and well-deserved. Of course, I've always believed that there's no difference in TV shows, and there's no winning or losing between guests. It's good to have competition. This way, the variety industry in China will get better. I believe that everyone already has an answer in their hearts. Everyone has their own most popular show in their hearts, and everyone has their own standards. Similarly, the National Television Program Awards also have a set of standards. Now, let me announce the winner of the Most Popular Male Guest in Variety Show Award for the 6th National Television Program Awards. Countless people held their breaths. Some people prayed, some made wishes, and some closed their eyes. Amidst the silence, the producer shouted out a name. Shui. Chapter 953. In the live stream, "Oh, Shui is Shui. Shui is awesome. He won the Best Actor, and Best Variety Award. F***CK. Did he do it at the age of 10? Did he really do it?" At the venue, the spotlight shone on Shui's head as the man in the black suit calmly adjusted his tie. Xianxia was the first to applaud. The girl's eyes seemed to be filled with stars. There was light in his body and in her eyes. Xianxia snorted and turned its little face away awkwardly. It wasn't happy for Shui at all. Ahem, just a little. That D***MN man is actually quite impressive. Let's welcome Shui. The host cued the proceedings. Shui hugged Xianxia first, then reluctantly shook hands with Xianxia before going on stage. His black suit made his skin look even paler, his long legs were slender, and his body proportions were perfect. The lines of his handsome face were smooth and clear, and his tie was meticulously tied. The buttons on his shirt were buttoned all the way to the top, making him look incomparably ascetic. Yet, it made people want to rip off his tie and tear open his shirt. He shook hands with the leading producer in a graceful and courteous manner. The producer picked up the trophy from the tray of the hostess and handed it to Shui. Shui took it with both hands. Congratulations. The producer smiled and patted him on the shoulder. I hope you can bring more outstanding works in the future, whether it's movies, television shows, or variety shows. Shui thanked him. Thank you to the judges and the organizers of today's awards. I'm honored to receive this award, and I'm also grateful for the choice I made back then. I'll work harder in the future. Thank you again, everyone. His acceptance speech was probably the most concise of the night. Several hosts heard the director's instructions through their headsets. They hurriedly stopped Shui before he left the stage. Shui, please wait. Shui paused. Huh. First of all, congratulations to Shi for winning the award. Our live stream is still ongoing, and the audience is very curious about the childhood photos of you and Xianxia. I wonder if you'd like to chat with us about it? Li Jianghu had shown them the melon just now, but no one took it seriously. The innocent knew that they were innocent and had a clear conscience. Shui. Sure. With his permission, the director immediately arranged for someone to play the childhood photo on the big screen behind him. Wow, Sister E was so cute when she was young. Another host couldn't help but praise. The girl in the photo was fair and soft. She had 2 small buns on her head and was holding a huge lollipop in her hand. She was smiling brightly. Shui chuckled. Yes, very cute. There are some misunderstandings among the netizens, saying that this is the child of you and Sister E, because the two of you look, well, about the same age. What's going on? The viewers in the live stream were extremely excited. Ha ha ha, this is a large-scale melon eating scene. I'm really eating melons from all sides. The director is so good, so good. So is it really a child or not? I think it's ridiculous too. They're 7 years apart, but why do they look about the same age? Shui's gaze moved away from Xianxia and landed on his childhood self. After a moment of silence he said, When I was young, I encountered some very bad things. They're all old stories, so let's not talk about them. During my childhood, I was always skinny and smaller than my peers, and I often got sick. When this photo was taken, I was actually already 10 years old. After a pause, he said in a hoarse voice, Every time I think about it, I hate myself at that time. Chapter 954. He was a pale, thin, and sickly young boy. He was powerless against everything in this world. He was always sick, always on medication, and always in therapy. In the beginning, he couldn't interact with people normally. Later on, he got better, but he still hated and even feared contact with women. There was only one person he wasn't afraid of. She had a nice nickname, Tutu. The little girl's life was the complete opposite of his. She was endlessly doted on, but also had a rare gentleness. She was always kind and always had a bright smile on her face. Every time they met, she would share the candy in her pocket with him. If he didn't want it, she would cry. If he did, she would cry too. But she would let him have the candy while crying. She was such a cute little bunny. Just like the morning light. He hid in the darkness, unwilling to take a single step out of the shadows. Shui had thought that these words would remain a secret forever. He didn't expect that one day, he would slowly open up those scars of the past. The man spoke concisely, and in just a few words, he had finished talking about everything that had happened between him and Xianxia when they were young. There were no flowery words or exaggerated rhetoric. After he finished speaking, he looked at Xianxia, who was below the stage. The scene was very quiet, and occasionally, a few sobs could be heard. In the comments section of the live stream, the Shui sisters were about to faint from crying. Oh my god! So you've been through all this? Boo-hoo, Shui will only smile when he talks about his little bunny. Xia and Shi Yuan will never be clean. Why bring a child into this world if you don't raise him? Shui is so skinny. Sister E must have been well nourished at home. She looks as tall as a 4 or 5-year-old when she's 3 years old. Seriously, it's so sad. I hope all the children in the world can be loved. Below the stage. Xianxia's eyes were red, but she held back her tears. She wondered if he would have had a different life if he had been born earlier and met Shui earlier. There's nothing to be sad about. Shui said gently on the stage. I just accumulated a lot of misfortune in exchange for good fortune. I just accumulated a lot of unhappiness in exchange for a beautiful one. Because of his words, more people couldn't help but cry. Fortunately, the young man met the little rabbit. Luckily, Shui met Xianxia. Shui returned to her seat. Xiao Naofu curiously poked at the trophy and even bit it with its teeth, trying to confirm if it was made of pure gold. Her sad mood was dispelled a lot by its cute behavior. However, Xianxia held his hand and whispered into his ear, What's wrong with you? You have me in the future. Shui replied with a smile. Yeah, I'll be in your life from now on. At this moment, no one was shouting about dog abuse. On the contrary, they felt that this scene was extremely healing. Next up is the most popular female guest of variety show. Let's welcome our guest presenter, Mr. Xianxia. Oh, so we met. Meet? Was it the Xianxia they knew? The netizens were confused. Even Xianxia had a confused expression on her face. The host read out an introduction. Xianxia, a famous entrepreneur, collector and angel investor, has invested in many domestic variety shows and has made outstanding contributions to our country's variety industry. The netizens were speechless. Is Xianxia really a tyrant? Chapter 955. Xianxia's appearance as the presenter made many people dumbfounded. Most people were amazed by how impressive Xianxia was, but there were also some fans of the other nominated women who began to stir up the crowd. Are you there? Are the judges playing games? How can a relative present an award ceremony? Isn't this shady? Our sister is so pitiful. It wasn't easy for her to be nominated, but in the end, she has to run into a royal like Xianxia. I bet she can be guaranteed a spot even if she scored a few points. Some netizens who were less determined began to waver. After all, Xianxia was also one of the nominees. It wouldn't be appropriate for her uncle to present the award, would it? In the next second, the host continued. The other presenter is the president of the Radio and Television Association, Madame Mu. There was an uproar at the venue. The viewers in the live stream were confused. Isn't she just a president? The guests are reacting too strongly. Soon, someone came out to explain. Oh my God! Everyone, wake up! This is not a private organization. It's an official organization. It can be said that all TV programs in the country have to be reviewed by them. It's unbelievable that such a big shot would actually come to present an award ceremony. Countless people were dumbfounded. At the same time, no one thought that there would be any shady dealings. No matter how impressive Xianxia was, could he have bribed the officials? What a joke. Madame Mu's arrival might not seem like much to the netizens, but in the eyes of the guests present, it was extremely shocking. In particular, the few variety show directors who had paid the internet water army to slander Shui and Xianxia had all changed their expressions. Using public opinion to pressure them had already failed. They wanted to stir up trouble, but they had failed again. Their internet water army had been bought for nothing. Their money had been spent for nothing. A few of them wanted to cry, but they couldn't and had to force a smile. Yes, we're so happy and looking forward to the results. Look forward to my ass. Was there a need to guess who it was? On the stage, the big screen was playing the exciting performances of several nominated female celebrities in the variety show. When it came to the famous scenes of Xianxia catching pigs, cooking, climbing trees, playing the Xianxian, shooting arrows, curing diseases, and carrying goods, there were screams in both the live audience and the live stream. It could be said that other female celebrities had a hard time finding material, but Xianxia was different. She had so much material that the staff in charge of post-production couldn't bear to delete even a second of it. They were practically in tears as they edited. Ladies first. Xianxia handed the envelope to Ms. Mu in a gentlemanly manner. Madame Mu smiled. Let's watch it together. The two of them opened the envelope and took out the card. Xianxia's expression was solemn. Madame Mu raised her eyebrows. Their reactions caused everyone's hearts to skip a beat. Now, let me announce that the winner of the most popular female guest in a variety show for the 6th National Television Awards is. Madame Mu deliberately paused and kept everyone in suspense. Her name is 2 words. Everyone. Among the nominees, there were 2 female celebrities with 2 characters in their names. One was Xianxia, and the other was a female celebrity from a detective show. They were also very popular. I almost couldn't catch my breath. Please let me be free. The Great Detective is such a loss. It's a variety show from 2 years ago. Xianxia won the award because she had an unfair advantage. Laughing at SKR, you're right because you're weak. Spicy Tutu is a Buddhist, but our Shui sister has a temper. Why don't you try being sarcastic again? The comment section of the forum fell silent. Amidst everyone's anticipation, Madame Mu announced clearly, the most popular female guest in a variety show, Xianxia. It was as if the whole world fell silent for a moment. A moment later, there was a loud boom. Be it at the venue or on the internet, everyone exploded. Chapter 956. In front of the screen, the faces that were illuminated by the fluorescent light were all staring intently. When they heard the words Xianxia, some screamed, some cheered, and some sat up excitedly. Some even opened the windows and roared, "Sister E has won an award!" In the live stream, the spicy tutu fans were already bawling their eyes out. Sister E is so outstanding. Our Zizi has worked hard. She deserves to be the most popular. The most popular female guest on a variety show, E. Our Xianxia is a fake. Shi Sui's sisters also congratulated her. Wow, as expected of Sister E. That's great, that's great. What's going on? I'm more excited than Shi Sui when he won the award. Ha ha ha. Congratulations, Sister E. You've won the most prestigious award in a variety show. You must continue to be flamboyant in the future. P.S. Remember to hold Shi Sui's hand while walking. He's not fit to be the only one. At the venue, the spotlights shone on Xianxia's head. She had exquisite eyebrows and her white dress made her look gentle and comfortable. She was the kind of person who would shine in the crowd. Hearing that she had won an award, Xianxia smiled, but she still looked neither servile nor overbearing. After hugging Shi Sui who was beside her, Xianxia lifted the hem of her dress and got up calmly. She walked towards the stage, and the ordinary ground seemed to have turned into a flowery path. Behind her, there was a warm round of applause. Amidst the commotion, she remained calm and composed. After going on stage, Xianxia leaned forward, nodded in greeting, and shook hands with Ms. Mu. As she moved, her long black hair fell down and she casually tucked it behind her ear. The camera zoomed in on her, revealing her perfect side profile. Her aura was between that of a clean and pure girl and a devastatingly beautiful woman. Just her hair alone was enough to make countless people fall for her. Aw, Tutu will definitely be a beauty when she grows up. She's super pretty now too. But I also think she'll look even better in a few years. Ah, I almost forgot. Not only am I a foodie fan, but I'm also a fan of pretty sisters' looks. With this face, I can finish 2 more bowls of rice. Madame Mu smiled and said, Miss Xiang, thank you for letting more people understand the traditional culture of our country, such as gourmet food, sanxian, traditional Chinese medicine, farming, and so on. Your live streaming of goods has helped farmers in several counties to escape poverty by relying on agricultural products. You have also introduced Little Rabbit Farm's advanced farming technology. Not only did you treat the guests on the variety show with your medical skills, but you've also made an outstanding contribution to the epidemic in the Western continent. You're truly a medical sage. Also, you should sell our domestic products overseas so that people all over the world can understand, buy, and use our domestic products. You are truly bringing glory to our country. Miss Xiang, congratulations again on winning the award today. I wish you all the best in the future. Everything you ask for comes true, everything you walk is smooth, all you meet are good people, all you see are happy events, all you hear are good news. The chief director of the dispatch room was stunned. This long paragraph was not written in the script. So, Madame Mu is really praising Xianxia. You flatter me, Xianxia said modestly. Thank you for your blessings, and I wish you all the best. Madame Mu smiled. In the next second, Xiang Feng pounced on Xianxia and hugged her while twirling around excitedly. Ahahaha, our Tutu is the world's #1 fan. No rebuttal. Chapter 957. Xianxia. Asterisk, asterisk degree asterisk, asterisk everyone? Mr. Xiang, have you forgotten about your domineering CEO persona again? How can the presenter spin around in circles at an award ceremony? This is ridiculous. Xiang Feng spun around several times before letting Xianxia land on the ground. He chuckled and asked, Little Xianxia, how do you feel? Are you very happy? The girl's milky white face looked serious. I feel a little dizzy. Xiang Feng rubbed his nose resentfully. The venue burst into laughter. The atmosphere in the live stream was also very harmonious. Ha ha ha, Xiang Feng is a man who doesn't play by the rules. I went to check on some software. Xiang Feng is really a domineering CEO. Actually, Xiang Feng is just a little silly, but he really dotes on Sister E. He personally came to present the award to Sister E, and he's even happier than Sister E receiving the award herself. Who wouldn't want to share the joy with their family members when they receive the award? Fortunately, the host managed to control the situation in time. Sister E, do you have any words for your acceptance? Xianxia blinked and answered obediently, yes, I've prepared a lot. Haha, I hope Sister E doesn't forget her lines like Director Li did. The camera cut to Li Jianyu's face in time. He shrugged and revealed a helpless expression, which made countless people laugh. But soon, everyone's attention was attracted by the dazzling girl on the stage. She held the trophy in both hands, which were slender and soft. Thank you to the organizers. Thank you to the judges. I'm very honored to receive this award. Thank you to all the viewers. It was your every click and comment that allowed Two Under One Roof to set countless records. This achievement and honor belong to all of us. Also, I want to thank Director Li Jianyu. It was your invitation that gave me a job when I was about to lose my job. It was your creativity that made this variety show more lively. It was your tolerance that allowed me to do whatever I wanted on the show. It was also you who gave me the opportunity to film a show with Shui. The girl looked in the direction of Shui with a sweet smile in her eyes. Shui told me a secret, and I also want to share a secret with everyone. I have a crush on someone. From being young and ignorant to finally growing up, from being embarrassed to bravely chasing after her. He said that I am his light, but to me every time I see him, I feel like the world is illuminated. There was a difference of 7 years between us. You were alive, but I wasn't. I had been trying my best to run forward, trying to catch up to that time, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't catch up. Finally, one day I suddenly understood that 7 years was 7 years, and 7 years was only 7 years. We still have a future. Thank you. The moment he finished speaking, the scene became extremely quiet. However, in the live streaming room, the traffic had already reached its peak since the start of the broadcast. Knock. Kowtow. Ah, what kind of celestial confession is this? KSWL. Childhood sweethearts. They were secretly in love with each other. The double arrow of love. It's so untimely and sweet. Xianxia nodded slightly in greeting. Just like when she went on stage, she was arrogant yet polite. She lifted the hem of her dress and gracefully stepped off the stage. She smiled and walked towards Shui. Shui got up and hugged the girl's slender waist. There were hundreds of people in the live streaming room and tens of millions of viewers. Shui kissed his little bunny. Chapter 958. It was a short and gentle kiss, but it attracted countless screams. Wah! Ah! Get married! I'll move the Civil Affairs Bureau here. The guests at the scene joked, and the netizens in the live stream went crazy. Friends! This is the kiss of the century. This is the kiss of the century. Wow, this is great. Shui's sister E has won an award. Shui, can you do it? Keep kissing her. You're not allowed to stop until you kiss her. Shui smiled faintly and ignored the teasing around him. He looked down and tidied up Xianxi's skirt while taking over the chubby Xiao. The kitten was so angry that its cheeks turned into pufferfish. Xiao kicked Shui hard, trying to escape from his arms and into Xianxi's arms. Shui casually said, "You're so chubby, Sister E will get tired carrying you." Xiao stopped struggling. It looked at Shui in disbelief. Meow. What did you say? This hoo-hoo is not fat hoo-hoo. Shui thought for a moment and changed his wording. What's wrong? Hugs can't satisfy our Xiao anymore? Does our Xiao want a kiss from her brother? Although all my kisses belong to Sister E, if our Xiao insists, I can reluctantly kiss you. Xiao was speechless. Woof woof woof. Even a dog wouldn't want a kiss from a dog like you. After the award ceremony, the crowd dispersed one after another. Xianxia and the others were chased by the reporters, who stopped them from leaving. The reporters had endless questions, but fortunately, Yuan Qing was there to deal with them with ease. She avoided the tricky questions with Tai Chi techniques, but at the same time, she didn't leave the reporters with nothing to write about. Until someone asked a question that completely stumped Yuan Qing. Will Miss Yuan marry Director Li? Her ears turned red, and her red lips pursed. She didn't know what to say. Li Jianyu hugged her and said with a smile, "Marriage is the most important thing arranged by the heavens." As soon as he opened his mouth, the reporters immediately asked, "Director Li, is there going to be a second season of Too Bad?" That's right, that's right. A lot of viewers are looking forward to it. Are they already preparing for it? After all, Two Under One Roof is now a national variety show. Li Jianyu rubbed his chin and pondered for a while. Well, let nature take its course, let nature take its course. A reporter keenly caught the main point. If you don't deny it, does that mean you're admitting it? Li Jianyu, that depends on whether Shui and Sister E are available. Everyone's eyes lit up as they focused their attention on Shui and Xianxia. Ingdi, Sister E, will you be participating in the second season of Little Broken? Shui. It's always the two of us. The audience will probably get tired of it. Xianxia agreed. Yeah. The reporters. So there's going to be a second season. We'll definitely make the headlines tomorrow. No way. We definitely won't get tired of it. A reporter shouted excitedly. Realizing that he had lost his composure, he said awkwardly, "I'm sorry, I'm a hardcore fan of Little Broken. I've been following it since the first live broadcast." Xianxia and Shui faced each other. Xianxia asked with a smile, "Do you want to participate?" Shui chuckled. "It's my honor." Xiangyi's smile was bright and full of vitality. She waved at everyone. "Then, see you in the second season." At the same time, Two Under One Roof updated their Weibo account frowny face Two Under One Roof V at everyone. Two Under One Roof is preparing for the second season. I'm meeting with Xiang today. Red heart, end of text. The following text was free. In Wan's words. It started with a variety show and ended with a variety show winning an award. Wan feels that this ending is very satisfying. Of course, due to the limitations of my writing skills, there is still some foreshadowing that hasn't been explained, and I want to satisfy the various plots that everyone wants to see, such as Shui and Xiangyi's married life, untimely movie, Xiao Naofu and Little Shiji etc., so there will be extra chapters. 1 chapter was updated in the morning and 3 chapters were updated tonight, so it's still 4 chapters today. It's expected to be updated on the evening of January 27th. Good night. I'm begging you for monthly votes. Chapter 959. Cut. As director Mu Si shouted, the filming was paused. Mu Si was a talented Chinese director. His films had accumulated more than 10 billion yuan at the box office and he had fans all over the world. At this moment, he had chosen to film his new film in Nanqing. In the middle of a seemingly endless bamboo forest, there was a small Taoist temple. The building was antique and contrasted with the bamboo forest behind it. It was quite artistic. Thank you for your hard work, everyone. Please take a 10-minute break before continuing. As soon as Mu Si finished speaking, the actors went back to take a break under the sun umbrella. The assistants went over with fans and drinks while the makeup artists went to touch up their makeup. Mu Si didn't even bother to watch the replay just now. He paced back and forth. She's not here yet? The assistant director was also Chinese and had a good relationship with him. He laughed and said, Soon. Didn't you just talk to Sister E half an hour ago? She said she would be here soon. Speak of the devil. A low-key black business car stopped by the roadside. The door opened and a young man in a white exercise suit got out of the car. He carried a peachwood sword on his back and was Xu Xinglan, who treated his sword as his wife. Next was Shui in sportswear. It was black, white, and gray. He didn't look 27 years old at all. Instead, he looked like a male college student. The girl who got out of the car behind him had a slim figure. She was slim but not too skinny. She was in a simple and youthful sportswear with a short-sleeved shirt and shorts. It was a matching outfit with Shui's. She looked sweet and suave when she moved. Sister E. Director Mu Si walked up quickly, his face full of excitement. Xiangyi waved at him and smiled. Long time no see. You're finally here. I've been looking forward to seeing you here. The assistant director also came over and coughed lightly to remind Mu Si. Mu Si reacted and quickly corrected himself. I've been looking forward to seeing you here. Shui smiled and didn't take it to heart. Xu Xinglan didn't have any objections either. His eyes were fixed on the prop rack not far away. Wuxia was an internationally renowned director. He had invested hundreds of millions in this new film. The costumes were not something ordinary movies could compare to. The props master had spent a lot of effort just to get the weapons on the shelf. There were antiques from private collectors, famous swords forged by contemporary Chinese masters, and even the heirloom of a martial arts family that had been passed down for hundreds of years. Xu Xinglan's reaction did not escape director Wuxia's eyes. Wuxia smiled. "Do you want to go and take a look?" Can I? Of course you can. Go and pick one that's handy. You'll need it for your next shoot. Xu Xinglan. The young boy's eyes lit up as he rushed towards the prop rack. "Wife, I'm here." But sometimes, having too many choices is also a kind of trouble. I want to use this, I want to use this too. Which was prettier, his wife or concubine? Everything was beautiful. He didn't want to make a choice. He just wanted everything. Looking at the young boy's lost expression, everyone couldn't help but laugh. Wuxia was pleased and said, "That's great. He fits the role of the sword fanatic in the script perfectly. By the way, Sister E, do you know any set of sword skills? Can I show it to the martial arts instructor? This way, I can better design your martial arts moves." Xianxia fell into deep thought. Seeing that she didn't speak, Wuxia comforted her. "It's okay. I know that you mainly focus on actual combat. It's normal that you don't know those kinds of performances." Xianxia shook her head. "No, I'm just thinking about which set to show." Wuxia. "So not only do you know but you also know more than one set?" Chapter 960. Wuxia tried to sound her out. "We're going to take a photo shoot today. Why don't you do your hair and makeup, and we can see how you look?" Xianxia was very cooperative. "Okay. You and Shui can go to the makeup room first. I'll see you later." Although it was said that it would take a while, the makeup and hair of an actress was a long process. It took 3 hours for the makeup artist and stylist to dress up Xianxia, but they still felt that it was not perfect enough. It took more than an hour just to put on the eye makeup. But the result was stunning enough. When Xianxia reappeared in the bamboo forest, the previous shoot had just ended. The girl seemed to have a magical power, and everyone's attention was drawn to her. The girl was wearing a red and white striped dress, and her hair was tied up into 2 small buns. Her makeup was exquisite, especially her eye makeup. The makeup artist deliberately put in a lot of effort to delineate Xianxia's doe eyes into a more youthful and round shape. A crimson flower was drawn between her eyebrows, and small sequins were pasted on the corners of her eyes. She looked like a beautiful girl who had walked out of a manga. Wuxia only took one look at her appearance and couldn't stop praising her. "Oh, amazing! You're so beautiful, so beautiful." Shui was sitting beside him. The man had changed into a 3-piece British-style suit and put on a pair of retro gentlemanly glasses. As he turned his eyes, the thin golden chain of the glasses swayed in the air in a mesmerizing arc. Shui looked calm, but in fact, his Adam's apple was moving. At this time, Xianxia was like a piece of white and sticky rice cake, wrapped in sweet red bean paste filling. "It was a very delicious feeling," Wuxia said. "Pick a sword first." Xianxia walked to the prop rack and glanced around. She seemed to have casually chosen the most ordinary long sword. The hilt of the sword was black, and the blade looked gray. It seemed that the blade had not even been cut. It made one wonder if it could even cut a piece of tofu. A look of disdain flashed across the props artist's eyes. She was really a vase. How could someone who didn't even know how to pick a sword make a good movie? She looked delicate and weak, and obviously didn't have much strength. She should have chosen a light and flashy sword, such as the gem-studded short sword. But she actually chose a sword that weighed as much as 5 kilograms. This was the heavy sword used by the Western Knight and Zhong Kai. Swords were meant to be light and graceful. If she were to hold a heavy sword, she probably wouldn't even be able to swing it, let alone film. The next second, the girl picked up the long sword easily and threw it casually. "Oh, it feels good." The props artist? Did he remember wrongly? That was actually a plastic sword. Most girls would be able to pick up something that weighed 5 kilograms, but he had never seen someone throw it so easily. At the same time, the martial arts director to his disciples to be honest with himself. "You're Xianxia." The martial arts director looked to be in his early 50s. He was not tall and slightly plump, but he was very energetic. His eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. Nice to meet you. I'm He Chuxing. Xu Xinglan's eyes widened. Grandmaster He? He was an existence that everyone in the martial arts world worshipped. Xianxia greeted him politely. Hello, Mr. He. Don't talk nonsense. Let's see how good you are. Let me say this first. If you cry later, I won't show you any mercy. Let me see how good you are. Grandmaster, he said directly. I'll stand still and let you make 3 moves. Xianxia. That's not necessary. Chapter 961. Grandmaster, he frowned and said, let's begin. Seeing that he was insistent, Xianxia did not decline and changed to a wooden sword. Grandmaster, he scoffed. Little girl, you don't need to change to a wooden sword. It'll be difficult for you to hurt me. Xianxia said gently, after all, swords have no eyes. Safety first. It's not just about our safety. It'll be bad if I accidentally hurt someone else. Grandmaster, he thought about it and felt that it made sense. His impression of Xianxia immediately improved. This little girl was quite considerate and had a good temper. Xianxia cupped her hands. Senior, sorry for the offense. Wuxia was speechless. Wait a minute. Grandmaster I asked you to design the moves, not to bully Sister E. Wuxia was on the verge of tears. Grandmaster, he was a real martial artist. He could easily beat up 10 adult men. What if something happens to Xianxia later? However, the two of them were already in a fighting stance. Wuxia's hair stood on end and he nudged Shui with his elbow. Why don't you try to persuade him? Let Sister E act coquettishly and give in. Grandmaster, he won't make things difficult for her. Shui said calmly. I believe in her. Wuxia was going crazy. Aren't you afraid that Sister E will be bullied? How can there be a girlfriend like you? She knows her limits. Wuxia was speechless. Trembling, he started to roll up his sleeves, ready to save Xianxia at any time. Grandmaster, he put his hands behind his back and closed his eyes. A gust of wind blew past, and his white beard and hair moved with the wind. He looked like a peerless master in a Wuxia novel. Xianxia held a sword in her left hand, which made the prop master roll his eyes again. Most people in China had a right-hand dominant hand, which was stronger and more agile. However, Xianxia had to use her left hand. Wasn't this adding insult to injury? This little vase was probably going to cry and beg for mercy soon. Xianxia brandished her sword beautifully. Just as everyone was about to cry out, they saw the girl attack Grandmaster he at a speed that was difficult for humans to react to. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Although the speed was fast, this level of attack was definitely nothing to Grandmaster he. Swish! The wind whistled sharply. Before the crowd could see clearly, Grandmaster he actually took a step back. Instantly, Grandmaster he opened his eyes and looked at Xianxia in surprise. Xianxia stopped in time and asked innocently, Shall we continue? Grandmaster he's face was dark and gloomy. Let's continue. With a loud voice, Grandmaster he drew a wooden sword from the side. Cries of surprise could be heard all around. Didn't Grandmaster he say that he would give Xianxia 3 moves? How could he go back on his word? Could it be that he was getting old and forgetful? Or could it be that move just now made him realize that Xianxia didn't need him to go easy on her? The latter was simply too inconceivable, and no one dared to believe it. The next duel between the two could be said to be thrilling. There were no flashy moves, not even superfluous movements. The old man and the young girl were like soldiers on an ancient battlefield, fighting with their lives on the line. They fought with the simplest and most ruthless moves. 2 ordinary wooden swords, but it was even more shocking than a real sword and saber duel. It was so fast that the eyes of ordinary people couldn't catch it. Bang! After the 2 swords collided again, Xianxia took a few steps back, but Grandmaster he stood firmly on the spot. The little vase had lost. It was as expected. Just as the props master had a gloating smile on his face, he saw the wooden sword in Grandmaster he's hand shatter. Chapter 962. The wooden sword broke? How much strength did that take? Before everyone could react, they heard Xianxia say, Senior, thank you for letting me win. Why does it feel weird when Xianxia says thank you for letting me win? Isn't that what the winner would say? Yeah, she clearly took a few steps back, but Grandmaster he didn't even take a single step back. The sword broke probably because of the quality of the sword. I think Grandmaster he was letting her win. She's still too young and doesn't have any foresight. She really thinks she won. Her EQ is worrying. Many of the crew members were brought over directly from abroad by Wuxia. Recently, they had been so busy that they didn't have time to watch the live broadcast. Hence, they didn't know about Xianxia's performance in Two Under One Roof, and thought that she was just a Chinese female celebrity who only had a pretty face. Something that no one had expected had happened. Grandmaster he sighed and said, "Young lady, he Chuxing, have never been convinced by anyone in my life, but today, I'm really convinced by you. I'm sincerely convinced that I lost to you. You held back, didn't you?" In other words, he felt that Xianxia didn't use her full strength and was holding back. Xianxia smiled and didn't continue, giving Grandmaster he enough face. Grandmaster he understood and stopped pretending to be a senior. He cupped his hands towards Xianxia, which was a return to Xianxia for her previous bow. "Haha, in the martial arts world, the one who has reached the top first. Little girl, don't call me senior anymore, just call me old he." "Senior, that's not appropriate." "Then, why don't you call me grandpa he?" "Sigh, my son is disappointing, he hasn't given me a granddaughter yet." The Li family, the Xing family, and the Yu family next door, when his beautiful and soft little granddaughter called him grandpa so sweetly, he was so envious that he almost had a disease. Xianxia smiled and said, "Hello, grandpa he." Grandmaster he changed his serious expression and said with a kind smile, Hey, granddaughter, come, let's have a good chat. I think that move you used just now is very suitable for the movie. Then, the actors in the same scene can use it. Do you think it's appropriate? Why don't you give me some more guidance?" No, I should be the one learning from you." The two of them chatted happily, gesticulating as they talked. It was very harmonious. Everyone else was dumbfounded. Not only did Grandmaster he admit defeat, but he also acknowledged a relative as well as a teacher. This was too illogical. The prop master was even more dumbfounded. At this time, he still didn't know that the petite Asian girl in front of him had an innate passive skill. It's a 100% face-slapping halo. Don't court death. Otherwise you'll be beaten. Wuxia was in a trance for a while. The way she looked at Xiangshui had changed. Oh God, this man was not a gigolo, nor was he a weakling. He had a pair of eyes full of wisdom. Even if Mount Tai collapses in front of him, his expression will not change. Even if the elk rises to the left, his eyes will not blink. To see the truth of things through hidden corners, to see the essence of things through appearances. Wuxia gave Xiangshui a thumbs up. She had unknowingly changed the way she addressed him. Brother, you are like this. Xiangshui was confused. What did he do? Didn't he just admire Sister Yi's beauty for a while? Oh, after the filming was over, it was time to produce the limited edition Tutu Cutie series. Posters, billboards, stickers, pillows, postcards. He had to arrange for all of them. He also had to continue hiding his identity as the #1 spicy tutu fan. Chapter 963. Xianxia and Grandmaster he chatted for a long time, and as they chatted, they even pulled director Mu into a discussion. Miss Zhang's character has a light and agile style, but we can still use a few moves to show her strength. This way, the audience will be even more shocked when they watch it in the theater. Wuxia only felt that her inspiration was endless. She had already thought of several ways to use the camera and edit the scene to create Miss Zhang's plot. However, the real effect would still have to be done with the choreography and the special effects after filming. Xianxia and Grandmaster he gestured a few moves and suddenly thought of something. Like this. After the first wave of movement, we can use the sword to pick up the stones and smash them on the ground or trees. Ha, young lady. I'm afraid we'll have to use special effects to achieve that. In the next second, the seemingly weak and delicate girl picked up a stone with the tip of her sword and suddenly exerted force on her wrist. The stone smashed into the sea of bamboos with a bang. A bamboo as thick as a cup broke with the sound, and when it fell, it bent a few other bamboos. Is this okay? Wuxia. Grandmaster he. Other people added special effects in post-production, but Sister E did it manually. The staff at the side heard the commotion and looked over, and they were all stunned. Kung Fu, this is Chinese Kung Fu. Is this really a standard that humans can achieve? Oh my God, how can a sword pick up a stone? Is this really in accordance with Newtonian mechanics? Musi opened her mouth wide. Sister E, how did you do it? Xiangxia was puzzled. Is this very difficult? Actually, it doesn't require much strength. It's just a trick. If you use scientific theory to explain it, it's probably the lever theorem and the parabolic equation. Everyone? Is it okay to use science to explain metaphysics? Stop acting. We all know that you have inner strength. In an instant, all kinds of small groups formed at the scene. The rumors went from, Sister E has pure inner strength, to, did you know that Sister E has magical power, to, oh my god, that Asian girl has mysterious magic. It was a large-scale scene of rumor spreading. After Grandmaster he set the martial arts movements, Xiangxia and Xu Xinglan immediately went to train. Director Mu Si sat on her personal stool, holding the blunderbuss in her arms. She was in a daze. His feelings were very complicated. It could be summarized as, #Mom, everything written in Wuxia novels is real. #, what should I do? Sister E is so powerful that I can't even spend money on special effects. #, am I worthy? Do I really deserve Sister E to shoot my movie? Woo-woo. The photographer's voice interrupted his thoughts. Director Mu, I've finished taking Sister Yi's makeup photos. Ha! Aren't we supposed to wait until she and Xinglan are done with their training? The photographer chuckled and handed the camera over to Director Mu as if he was presenting a treasure. From the moment Sister E appeared, to her duel with Grandmaster He, to the moment when she picked up the stone and broke the bamboo, I recorded it all. Mu Si's eyes fell on the camera screen. His team was the best in the world, and the photographer's skills were impeccable. He had captured Xiangxi's beauty completely. The two-dimensional girl in the bamboo forest, her figure and afterimages during the duel. The best shot was the moment when the girl picked up the stone with her sword. Strength and beauty, softness and toughness, were vividly displayed at this moment. It could be called art. Chapter 964. Mu Si's pupils dilated. Is there even a need to shoot this? It was many times better than those styled photos that were deliberately made to look concave. He even wanted to use her as a poster for the movie. Oh God. Meeting her was the luckiest moment of my life. The photographer agreed. She does have her own unique beauty, which is unique in this world. Mu Si nodded. The two of them praised Xiangxia to each other and felt that their relationship had deepened. As long as you like Sister E too, we'll be good friends for life. At 8 o'clock that night, the production team of martial arts updated several sets of styled photos on both domestic and foreign platforms. They were of Shui, Xiangxia, and Xu Xinglan. Xu Xinglan's photo was clean and refreshing. He was dressed in a white training suit with a black belt tied around his waist. The young man stood with a sword in his hand, his eyes clear. In the comments section, everyone praised him for being an adorable younger brother. In the film, Shui played a noble who tracked down a mysterious martial arts organization in order to uncover the mysterious death of his younger brother. He was filming indoors. In the extravagant and luxurious room, the man was holding an autopsy book in his hand. His gold-rimmed glasses made him look like a refined scum. This photo had both the arrogance and gentlemanly aura of a noble, as well as the maturity of an adult man. The comments on social media sites were all crazy. Ah, the child in my belly can call me daddy, hubby. Shui's eyes are really as deep as the ocean. One look at them and you'll be immersed in a story. I'm so surprised. I thought that Director Mu wouldn't be able to find another male lead like George. After all, George is a real noble, but I didn't expect him to bring us such a surprise again. The one with the most shares and likes was Xiangxi's styled photo. The vast sea of bamboo stretched as far as the eye could see, and the scene was distant. The sword in the girl's hand left afterimages in the air as the tip of her sword lifted up a stone. Her body was full of explosive power, but her face was extremely exquisite. Her twin buns were exquisite and adorable, and her eyes were unbelievably beautiful, as if they were filled with water. This photo quickly gained countless fans. Ah, Sister E is so adorable. Kawaii. She's like a beautiful girl from a manga. Is this really just a supporting role? Director Mu Si, add more scenes for me. Xiangxi's makeup photos received countless compliments, but it was inevitable that some people would criticize her. It was mainly about Xiangxi's acting. Can she act well? Since her debut, she hasn't been able to produce any decent works. Is she planning to let the foreign netizens glare at her? You've embarrassed yourself overseas. My bad habit of feeling embarrassed is acting up again. That's right, apart from variety shows, does she have any other representative works? The Xianxia TV series in which Xiangyi and Shui had acted as guest stars started airing, as if it was meant to slap these people in the face. The plot of this drama was mainly about the male lead leveling up and getting into a relationship with the female lead. Shui played the role of the white celestial hidden in the ring of the male lead. She didn't have many scenes, but the moment she appeared, the bullet screen exploded. There was no other reason. His looks were too good. He was dressed in a white robe with wide sleeves and cold eyes. He was the most handsome person in the entire drama. Xiangyi played the role of a little vixen. The director deliberately put their scenes in the first 2 episodes. Before the second episode was even aired, the number of views had already exceeded 100 million. Chapter 965. This was a sign that the drama was going to be a hit. Everyone in the Xianxia drama was so excited that they kept sending red packets to the group chat. The female lead was the only one who remained silent. Everyone knew in their hearts that she was probably upset. This drama was adapted from a web novel with the male lead, as the female lead had very few scenes. She only appeared for a few minutes in the first 2 episodes, which was even shorter than Xiangyi's. What made the female lead even angrier was that when she watched the drama, she found that everyone was praising Xiangyi for her appearance. "I'm here for Sister E. Time to check it out. The gentle Xiangyi of the world, the cute little vixen. Oh my god, this little vixen is so cute. Sharing half of her inner core with the male lead is so sweet, I can't take it anymore." It wasn't easy for her to appear in the plot, but there were very few comments on the screen, and the reviews were mediocre. Is this the female lead? She's so ugly. Her acting skills are Are there no other actresses in the entertainment industry who can stand out? How can she be the female lead with such looks? It's okay. It's mainly because Shui and Sister E have raised the standard of this drama's attractiveness standards. The others seem mediocre. In the high-end department, the female lead screamed hysterically. She turned on her phone and realized that the director and the male lead had all sent her WeChat messages. "Xiaoyu, you'll have more scenes in the future." The first 2 episodes have more scenes with Shui and Xiangyi, which was carefully considered. Their popularity will bring more attention to our drama. Don't worry, Shui will be the only one who will have a few more scenes. Xiangyi won't have any at all. Yeah, don't be upset. The director and the others are doing this for our drama's sake. Besides, the popularity is so high now, which means that our drama may not only become popular, but also become a hit. When the time comes, our pay will also increase. Smile. Pan Yu gritted her teeth. What do you know? She would rather not have Xiangyi's popularity. She didn't want to be compared to them either. It was just a variety show, but it actually cleared Xiangyi's name. Last year, she had acted in a movie with Xiangyi, and her acting skills had been unbearable. Pan Yu opened Weibo and habitually looked at the top of the hot search. The dazzling #Xiangyi's makeup photo hashtag stung her eyes. She continued reading and saw that Get was ranked 2nd. The male lead's entry was ranked 5th, but there was no mention of her at all. The hatred in Pan Yu's eyes deepened. She searched her phone for a long time and finally found a video. A cold smile appeared on her red lips as she sent the video to all the major gossip marketing accounts. Not only did she post it within the country, but she also posted it overseas. The next day, as soon as Xiangyi arrived on set, she noticed that all the crew members were looking at her strangely. The young girl frowned, somewhat puzzled. Musi greeted her. "Sister E, you can go and put on your makeup first." All right. Xiangyi went to the makeup room. As usual, it took a long time for her to put on her makeup. She was about to take out her phone when Anan immediately took out a tablet and asked carefully, "Hey, do you want to watch a movie? Or watch a variety show?" Xiangyi stared at him for a few seconds. "What happened?" Anan retorted. Nothing. "Then why aren't you with Mr. C? Haven't the two of you been inseparable recently?" Anan's ears turned slightly red. There's nothing between the two of us." While he was trying to explain himself, Xiangyi tapped on the screen of her phone. Chapter 966. After skimming through the video, Xiangyi roughly knew what had happened. Actually, it was quite simple. When she was being raped, she acted in an idol drama and had more than 20 NGs on set. Someone from the same crew had secretly recorded the video, and it had now been uploaded on social media sites both at home and abroad. Now, many people were protesting to Wuxia and demanding that she be replaced immediately. Otherwise, they would boycott the drama. Replace her. Immediately. With such acting skills, wouldn't she be a burden to the entire crew? I watched the Xianxia drama yesterday. Her acting skills are only at the level of a silly girl. Director Mu's movies have always been classy and realistic. Is her acting skills good enough? I will never accept Xianxia acting in Director Mu's movie. If Director Mu insists on using her, I won't contribute a single cent to the box office when the movie is released. The Spicy Tutu fans, who had always been passive, also stepped forward to try and explain things for her. The Xiangshui sisters, on the other hand, were in charge of communicating with the fans and scolding them whenever they saw an idiot. Seeing the fans being scolded for her, Xianxia frowned. Seeing this, Annan pressed his hand against his forehead. Oh no, they still found out. Sister E, it's nothing. Who would buy a dark history? When I was looking for a job, I submitted thousands of resumes. Once, I finally got into an interview and accidentally sat on the interviewer's chair. At that time, I felt like dying, Annan persuaded. Xianxia said, it's nothing, they're just doing it because they like Director Mu's movies. From the perspective of those people, it was normal that they didn't trust her. She was lucky enough to be liked by some people, but that didn't mean that everyone in the world had to like her. However, she didn't care about those who didn't like her, but she didn't want those who liked her to be hurt because of her. The girl closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, she was back to her usual calm and composed self. However, Annan felt that there was something different about his dear girl. Have you guys seen that NG video? It's so eye-catching. If she's so bad at acting, why does she have to act in a movie? She can just be an internet celebrity and make money. Shoo, keep your voice down, she's coming. Amidst the whispers from every corner, Xianxia appeared. She didn't have many scenes in the movie, but the plot was very important. It could be said that she was a supporting role that pushed the whole movie forward. Today's scene was the first time she met the male lead played by Xiangshui. The set was ready, and the Taoist temple was crowded with extras. Everyone first checked their positions twice. After ensuring that there were no mistakes, Wuxia gave an order. Action! The lens approached from afar, pushing from the sea of bamboo to the entrance of the Taoist temple. The bodyguard, who was wearing white gloves and black sunglasses, opened the car door respectfully. Austin, who was played by Xiangshui, got out of the car with a lazy look on his face. He was playing with a lighter in his hand. The flame danced on his fingertips, but it didn't hurt him at all. Where's Miss Zhang? She's waiting for you. The camera followed the man's line of sight. It passed through the old but charming door and landed in the courtyard surrounded by incense. Under the lush 100-year-old ginkgo, the sunlight passed through the branches and leaves, sprinkling mottled light spots. The girl carrying the cello case suddenly turned her head and met Austin's eyes. The camera zoomed in and used a close-up to capture the changes in the girl's micro-expressions. Miss Zhang raised her eyebrows and stared at Austin with great interest. She sized him up from head to toe, and in the end she whistled lightly. You're mine now. Begging for a monthly vote. Duck kiss kiss kiss, I'm going to make snail noodles. Good night. Chapter 967. Everyone at the scene held their breaths. They could only vaguely hear the faint sound of the machine running. Literary scenes were actually more difficult to act out than martial arts scenes. The scene between Austin and Miss Zhang seemed to be a scene where the girl approached Austin step by step, flirting without realizing it. However, there was a hidden meaning in their conversation. Since Miss has no intention of cooperating, then forgive me for not accompanying you. The man's languid voice fell. The next second, he took out a gun and aimed it at Miss Zhang. At the same time, the girl drew her sword. The sharp blade reflected the snowy light and the tip of the sword was pressed against Austin's clear throat. The bodyguard at the side was on high alert. However, the two of them were at ease. Austin was even in the mood to joke. Do you think your sword can be faster than my gun? The girl squinted her eyes and smiled like a sly fox. You can try. The stalemate lasted for 1 second, 2 seconds. Although everyone at the scene knew that the two of them were just using props and acting in a movie, they still couldn't help but feel nervous. The sense of immersion was too strong. Behind the camera, Wuxia stared at the two of them without blinking. Every frown and every smile. Every line and every micro-expression was just right. A little more would be too much, and a little less would be too little. This was the feeling he wanted. Not far away, a supporting actor rang the bell. The two of them raised their eyebrows. Let's form an alliance. Alliance. Yes, but I feel I will be betrayed at any time. Aren't you the same? The two of them looked at each other and smiled. As if they had reached a tacit understanding, they stopped at the same time. Cut. Wuxia stood up excitedly. Austin, Miss Zhang, come over here for a moment. After filming officially started, Wuxia would be deeply immersed in the plot and would often forget the actors' real names. He would call them by their names in the movie. Xianxia and Xianxia put away their props and walked towards him. The crew instantly broke out in cold sweat. They felt that Xianxia acted very well. As for Xianxia, well, there was nothing wrong with it. Unexpectedly, her acting wasn't as bad as that video where she had more than 10 NGs. On the contrary, it was quite lively. However, director Wuxia was known for his high standards. Would he think that Xianxi's performance did not meet his expectations? Although Wuxia usually had a good temper, she had a sharp tongue when it came to scolding people. There was once a 2-meter-tall burly male actor who was scolded by him on the spot until tears and snot ran down his face. He cried and shouted to call his mother. However, it was beyond everyone's expectations. When Wuxia caught Xianxia, she began to praise her. Wonderful. Too wonderful. Miss Zhang, your performance just now was simply an act that reached the depths of one's soul. In the beginning, Austin and Miss Zhang didn't trust each other, but they also wanted to use each other. The changes in micro-expressions are completely in line with the character's psychology and background. Miss Zhang, have you studied micro-expressions before? In contrast to Wuxia's agitation, Xianxia appeared very calm. Yes, I know a little about it. It was nothing more than the more worlds he transmigrated to, the more strange skills he mastered. Perhaps misfortune was also another kind of fortune. She didn't expect that the skills that she thought were useless would come in handy now. Wuxia's eyes lit up. There are two kinds of actors I like the most. One is those who are talented, and the other is those who use their brains to act. I think you have both. Are you confident about winning the Best Supporting Actress Oscar this year? Chapter 968. Everyone was dumbfounded. Wait, she's only done one scene and you think she can win an Oscar already? That's the most prestigious acting award in the world. Xianxia smiled and said calmly, let nature take its course, it will happen naturally. Wuxia gave her a thumbs up and said, okay, keep it that way. The cameraman interjected, Director, do we need to shoot a second scene? Do we still need to reshoot this? Wuxia answered his own question. No. This is the effect I want. Everyone was speechless. In fact, 1/3 of the filming for martial arts had already been completed. Unfortunately, the previous male lead had gone back to inherit the family fortune and become the king, so they had no choice but to reshoot it. However, the crew knew Wuxia's temper very well. He was a perfectionist who pursued perfection and would not allow even the slightest flaw. He had even filmed dozens of scenes over the course of several days. It was also because of his seriousness that the quality of each of his productions was commendable and the box office sales were also guaranteed. They didn't expect him to approve of two actors so much, passing the scene in one take. In the past, they wouldn't even have dared to think about it. Although there was a confidentiality agreement, there were too many people at the scene and it was inevitable that someone would leak some information. As soon as the scene was completed, a gossip post appeared on the Melon forum. Title: Rumor has it that director Wuxia praised Xianxia for being able to win an Oscar, shocking my entire family. Content: My best friend's classmate's friend is an extra in martial arts. Today, he got lucky and acted as a pilgrim in a Taoist temple. He even filmed it with Xianxia and Xianxia. He said that Xianxi's acting skills were superb and director Mu praised her to the skies. He even said that she could win an Oscar. Shocking my entire family. Melon friends, what do you think of Xianxi's acting skills? There were all sorts of replies below. Brag, brag, brag. Whitewashing posts are here so soon. How long are they going to market her silly and sweet acting skills? Rumor has it, Xianxi's acting skills in that Xianxia drama were actually very delicate. Being silly and sweet is just a character design, but her acting skills are really good. Yes, I also want to say, where are you going to find a pure, lustful, sweet, and pretty girl like Xianxia? You guys should at least find someone who can fight like her. A gossip marketing account uploaded the post to Weibo and even attached a screenshot of Xianxia's dozens of failed takes. In comparison, the contrast was too strong. How could she win an Oscar with such eyesore acting skills? Sorry for insulting the Oscars, right? Right at this moment, Martial Arts posted a short video clip. It was the scene of Xianxia and Xu Xinglan's duel in the drama. Although it wasn't a full-length film, the video was still well edited. It was only 30 seconds, but whether it was the level of the camera or the smoothness of the martial arts moves, everything was smooth and the rhythm was tight. With the accompaniment of the music, it immediately felt like a blockbuster. As soon as the video was released, the netizens who had just mocked Xianxia's naive and sweet acting skills began to question her. Are these two people not using stand-ins? Holiest asterisk T, Xianxia didn't even use any pressure, but she just stepped on a tree and somersaulted? Oh no, now the foreigners will definitely think that everyone in China knows Kung Fu. Oh my god! The martial arts moves in this set of scenes were superb. It was as if we had returned to the most glorious era of martial arts films. It was filmed with both Chinese characteristics and cinematic artistry. I bet 50 cents that Xianxia will become a god in this movie. Chapter 969. Pan, you didn't even watch the Xianxia drama that she was starring in. Instead, she kept scrolling through the gossip about Xianxia. When she saw that Xianxia was being mocked by netizens, the corners of her mouth curled up. However, when she saw the video posted on the official Weibo account of the movie Martial Arts, her heart collapsed again. Why? Why can Xianxia always slap others in the face so easily? Does she really know how to cast witchcraft? Panyu refused to believe it. She created a Smurf account and said sarcastically, so what if she's good at acting? At most, she'll become a martial arts star. Real acting skills are not about fighting. Soon, a large group of netizens started criticizing her. If you're so good, why don't you do it? Count for yourself how many martial arts stars there are in the highest-grossing movies in the world. I'm dying of laughter. She's playing a character with super strong martial arts skills. If she doesn't fight, is she going to cry and defeat her opponent with her tears? She's not the female lead in the Xianxia drama that has been broadcast recently. She's useless except for crying. Panyu was about to vomit blood. Not only did she fail to humiliate Xianxia, she even got humiliated by her acting skills. She gritted her teeth and said, Panyu's acting skills are way better than Xianxia's. Then, Panyu realized that she had been slapped in the face again. Because it was always done in one take, almost half of Xianxia's scenes had been filmed in 2 days. Director Mu Si was so satisfied with her performance that he couldn't help but edit it himself. He cut out a beautiful video and posted it. He had never liked to reveal the content of a movie before it was released. But this time was different. He wanted the whole world to know how good Xianxia's acting skills were. The genius director's casual editing was amazing. After the video was posted, the netizens who heard the news and rushed over curiously clicked on it. The total duration was very short. Only 1 minute. However, in this short 1 minute, Mu Si had edited Xianxia's literary scenes, martial arts scenes, and crying scenes. Xianxia's acting skills were smart and cunning. Whether she was acting with Shui or the other supporting actors, she was able to keep up with the acting. Needless to say, Xianxia's martial arts skills were as light as the wind and snow. Occasionally, she would explode with power, causing people to tremble in fear. Xianxia's crying scene took up the most time and was also the most exciting. In the film, the girl was half kneeling on the ground. Her expression went from blank to sober. Her hands were trembling. She wanted to pick up the sword, but she couldn't lift the blood-stained sword. The girl raised her eyes and looked at the camera. Her deer-like eyes were watery and the corners of her eyes were red. There was hatred, unwillingness, and sadness. The people in front of the screen were subconsciously brought into a sad mood. Did someone betray her? Why did he have to upset such a beautiful little sister? Patter. A teardrop slid down her porcelain cheeks. Her hand, however, firmly grasped her own sword. Even if he were to face a powerful enemy, he would not be afraid. Never retreat. Throughout the entire process, other than the background music, the girl did not speak a single line, nor did she make a single sound. She relied entirely on her micro-expressions and body movements to interpret. Swish. The screen was pitch black. Only the sound of her heartbeat continued. A few seconds later, the electrocardiogram stopped abruptly with a beep sound. Countless people in front of the screen woke up from a dream. Only then did they realize that their faces were covered in tears. Thus, Pan Yu found that her alternate account had been tagged tens of thousands of times. The comment with the highest number of likes was frowny face. Come on, grandson. Watch your grandaunt's crying scene. Pan Yu was speechless. Chapter 970. Pan Yu was caught off guard by how quickly she had been slapped in the face. No way. What kind of probability is this? Is there a 100% chance of getting slapped in the face? Pan Yu resisted the urge to vomit blood and scrolled through the comments one by one. She thought that she was good at being sarcastic, but compared to the netizens, she was weak. Putting Pan Yu and Sister E together is really insulting to Sister E. No matter what, Sister E is still very popular. What kind of person is Pan Yu? She's not even worthy of being trampled on. I'm dying of laughter. What works does Pan Yu have? Isn't it just that Xianxia drama that was recently aired? She cried more than 10 times in a few episodes, but even that can't beat Sister Yi's crying scene. Pan Yu rolled her eyes and fainted from anger. A week later, Xiangxia had finished filming all her scenes, and Wuxia held a wrapping ceremony for her and Xu Xinglan. After a week of filming, the entire crew was convinced of Xiangxi's acting skills. She was good at martial arts, crying and fighting, and most importantly, she could cook from time to time. She would feed everyone pudding and braised duck neck. Before leaving, she even gave the crew a bunch of specialties from Little Rabbit Farm. It was no exaggeration to say that the entire crew really sent her off with tears in their eyes. As for whether it was tears in their eyes or at the corners of their mouths, no one knew. Xiangxia returned to her homebody life. Her daily routine was to grow flowers and vegetables, make all kinds of delicious cat food for Xiao Naofu, and occasionally make some lunch for Shi Sui. On this day, she carried Xiao Naofu and came to deliver food to Shi Sui. The crew had been filming for several days in a row, and everyone was a little dispirited. Shi Sui was in good condition and still had the energy to bully Xiao Naofu. I'm not as cute as Xiao Naofu, and I can't be by Sister Yi's side every day like Xiao Naofu. But Xiao Naofu, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but what should I do? Sister Yi loves me. Why don't I give Xiao Naofu a kiss and make Xiao Naofu love me twice as much, okay? Come, Mua. Xiao Naofu's hair stood on end as it turned into a dog. Woof 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 woof. Motherf asterisk cur. Damn green tea. Bastard. Xiangxia shook her head helplessly and complained in a low voice. This man and cat, they think about each other when they don't see each other, but when they see each other, they start to fight. I really can't do anything about them. Director Wuxia is enjoying the homemade soy milk tea she brought. Ha! Is there no room for 2 dogs on the same mountain? Xiangxia coughed. Shua, Shi Sui and Xiao Naofu simultaneously cast their gazes at Wuxia, their eyes full of murderous intent. Wuxia immediately changed the topic. Sister E, this milk tea is really dog. Bah, this milk tea is really delicious. Sorry, I grew up overseas, so my Chinese is not good. Xiangxia held back her laughter. If you like it, I'll ask someone to send you another bucket. Wuxia. My sister E. I am my sister E. Other people talk about milk tea in cups, but my sister E talks about milk tea in buckets. By the way, there's actually something I need your help with. Wuxia cleared her throat. In my movie, there are too few emotional scenes. The whole movie feels too tough, so I might lose some viewers who like romantic elements. So, hee. So I want to ask you to come back to the crew and reshoot a few emotional scenes between you and Shi Sui. Just that the scale might be a little too big. The girl pretended to be calm. Ha! How big? Chapter 971. Holding hands, hugging, kissing, and, ahem, forget about that. Sister E, you're still a baby. If the fans of the untimely couple had heard this, they would have screamed. I see. Xiangxi's ears were so red that they were about to bleed, but she still looked calm and composed. Then I'll do it. Really? Wuxia didn't expect that she would agree. He was pleasantly surprised. I have a script here. You can read it first. He took out 2 newly printed scripts, which were rushed out overnight by the scriptwriter. Wuxia handed Xiangxia a relatively pure script. Xiangxia sipped her milk tea and browsed through it. When she saw the words bathroom kiss, underwater kiss, and life and death kiss, Xianxia choked on her milk tea and felt dizzy. This, isn't there too much kissing scene? The girl closed the script and was too embarrassed to read it. Although she had traveled through many worlds, she had never been in a relationship, let alone doing such intimate things. Wuxia waved the other script in his hand and teased, "You're shy? Then you won't be able to resist this one." He smirked. "Do you want to read it? The scriptwriter is a fan of both of you. There are a few love scenes in this script, which are both emotional and beautiful." Xianxia braced herself. Just this one. Sure Sui. Does he agree? He said that he respects all your opinions. I'm fine with anything. The girl's voice was soft, and there was a hint of embarrassment in it. Shall we start shooting tonight? The atmosphere will be better at night. Okay. With Xiangyi's consent, Wuxia immediately sent people to set up the scene. At the same time, he gave Shui half a day off and asked him to take Xiangyi on a date. Love scenes. Love scenes. If there's no love, then there's only acting. I don't like actors who act for the sake of acting, Wuxia said. So, half an hour later, in a cinema, Xiangyi and Shui were in disguise, but they were not overly exaggerated. They had arranged for hats and sunglasses. Instead, they wore masks and wore casual clothes. Along the way, although there were passers-by who looked at them, they did not expose their identities. Xiangyi breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the best disguise was not to hide, but to be ordinary. Little did she know that at this time, there was already a live broadcast post on the Melon Forum. Title: "Oh, I saw Shui and Sister E on a date. It's so sweet that my heart is exploding." Content: these two little fools only wore masks. Passers-by couldn't recognize them, but loyal fans could recognize them just by looking at their figures and silhouettes. The two of them were holding hands the whole time. It was so sweet. Second comment: "Ah, they even bought popcorn." 14th comment: "Oh my god, the two of them are catching dolls." Sister E caught a bunny bag for Shui, and Shui really carried it on her back. 291 comment: "Huh? What happened? I just finished typing and there are so many comments? Is my post going to go viral?" Countless onlookers rushed over, waiting for the original poster to share the news about Shui and Xiangyi. In front of the claw machine, Xiangyi caught a lot of bunnies. In the end, the boss couldn't stand it anymore. He came over and locked the claw machine. With a dark face he said, "This one is broken. It can't be used." The girl tilted her head. "The internal circuit should be very simple. If you don't mind, I can help you fix it?" The boss was expressionless. "Thank you, but I mind." Xiangyi. "Oh, I see." Chapter 972. The boss put his hands behind his back and walked towards the reclining chair. Shui chuckled beside him. Seeing that she wasn't satisfied, he walked up and caught up with the boss. The two of them talked about something and the boss quickly came back. Not only did he unlock the machine, but he also put in a few other cute bags. Cough. I remembered wrongly. This isn't the one that's broken. Please continue. Xiangyi blinked. After the boss left, she whispered to Shui, "What did you say to him?" Shui smiled teasingly. "I said that if my girlfriend isn't satisfied, she might come here secretly at night and tear down all the claw machines. Also, I bought this claw machine along the way. Am I that kind of person?" The girl smiled. "At most, I'll tear down half of it." Shui ruffled her soft hair. "Let's continue. I want that carrot bun." "Okay, I'll get it for you." The two of them returned with a full load after a long time. Xiangyi tied the strings of the plush bag together and hung it around Shui's neck. The contrast between the tall and straight man and the cute cartoon bag was quite cute. Shui said helplessly, "Fortunately, I put on a disguise. Otherwise, my fans would definitely stop being my fan." Unsurprisingly, this scene was also recorded in the post by the original poster. 555 Tich comment: "Ah, I'm dying. Sister E is too cute. I announce that I'm now Zai's mommy fan." 598th comment: "Oh my god, Shui is so doting. I heard his conversation with the claw machine boss. He bought the claw machine for Zai. Mother is very satisfied with this son-in-law." 732nd comment. Ha 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 ha, I'm laughing my head off. Shui thinks that he hasn't been discovered and is worried that his fans will stop following him. I want to tell him that he's overthinking. He has been discovered long ago. Suddenly, the post was filled with laughter, and everyone was extremely happy with the candies. It was time for the movie ticket inspection. Shui and Xianxia entered the venue. Their seats were connected, but there was an armrest with drinks in between. Cough. Don't you think the drink is a little cold? Xianxia whispered. Shui said warmly. Shall I go out and buy you a hot drink? There's no need to go through so much trouble. Blushing, the girl silently raised the armrest and held Shui's hand with her cool little hand. Her milk-white and delicate little face was serious. I'll warm you up. Shui was stunned for a moment, but then she reacted and held Xianxi's hand. Yes. Before he could finish his sentence, a short, ah, came from the back. Xianxia looked back and saw a girl covering her mouth with her hand. There was a satisfied smile on her face. When she met Xianxi's eyes, she was obviously excited and subconsciously wanted to call out Xianxi's name. However, Xianxia raised her milk-white finger and made a shushing gesture. Her eyebrows curved into the shape of a crescent moon and she winked at her. The girl nodded hard to show that she understood. Xianxia turned around. The girl took out her phone and typed so fast that there was almost an afterimage. 1033rd comment. Oh my god, what kind of luck do I have? I'm sitting right behind Shui and Zai. 1099th comment. Zai smiled at me. She looks so beautiful with a mask on. Her eyes are really amazing. 1314th comment. I'm dead. Shui seems to be a little sleepy. Zai hugged him and put him on her shoulder. She even coaxed him to sleep softly. Shui, you don't deserve it. Give me back my daughter. Chapter 973. All of a sudden, all the fans of Shui's mother and sister were in tears. Wuli Zai is so obedient. Shui doesn't deserve it. You guys aren't the only ones who don't deserve it. I Shui don't think he deserves it either. Ha ha ha, I never thought that Shui would be criticized so badly by his own fans after so many years of debut. Shui originally wanted to tease the girl, but he didn't expect to fall asleep and actually fell asleep on Xianxi's shoulder. He didn't sleep well, but when he was with Xianxia, he seemed to be able to fall asleep all the time. Perhaps that was trust. When he woke up, the movie had just ended. Shui whispered. Sorry. What's there to be sorry about? You can catch up on your sleep while I watch the movie. Then I can talk about the plot. Both of us have profited. Shui couldn't help but laugh as he listened to the girl gently talk about the plot. The two of them held hands and never let go. Before leaving, Xianxia waved at the girl in the back row. The girl also waved at her excitedly until Xianxia disappeared from her sight. She updated the last comment in the post. Post number 5213. The galaxy is boiling hot. Why don't we have a bowl of spicy hot pot? Two people under the same roof. The best love, Shui, Xianxia. Red heart. This post received countless likes, and many years later, it was still in the favorites of some netizens. As long as they read the content of the post, they would smile. That was their youth back then. Facts had proven that geniuses were indeed geniuses. Wuxia's decision to ask Shui and Xianxia to go on a date was undoubtedly the right one. Ordinary people couldn't tell, but as the director, he could clearly sense the changes in their eyes through the camera. It was like honey melting in the sun, giving off a warm sweetness. Let me talk about the scene for you too. Wuxia called the two of them over and began to talk about the scene. His Chinese was not good, so Shui and Xianxia had good English listening skills, so they could listen to him speak in English without any pressure. In conclusion, the scene that the two of them were about to shoot could be said to be the most erotic scene in the entire film. In the movie, Miss Zhang joined Austin's camp and helped him investigate his brother's death. At the same time, she was also looking for the sword manual called Martial Arts. Today's scene was set at a cocktail party. The two of them were communicating in secret, but unfortunately, they were discovered by the villain. In order to confuse the villains, the two could only pretend to be a couple. At this time, in the bathroom, the lights were dimmed, and the room was filled with mist. The pitter-patter of water did not stop. The snow-white bathtub was filled with red rose petals, and fluffy white bubbles almost overflowed from the bathtub. Outside the door, the villain's conversation could be heard. "Find them now." In a moment of desperation, Miss Zhang had no choice but to push Austin into the bathtub. The man's clean and neat retro suit was instantly soaked. She wanted to slip away through the small window, but a pair of warm hands unexpectedly appeared on her waist. In the girl's astonished eyes, the hand holding her suddenly exerted force and pulled her into the bathtub. Bang! Water splashed everywhere. Miss Zhang raised her small face. There was uneasiness in her eyes, but also complicated feelings. The man raised his hand and wiped away the bubbles on her cheeks. His slightly calloused hand moved from her dimples to her lips, gently rubbing. His movements were deliberately slow, more than ambiguous, but not excessive. "There's someone inside." The moment the villain was about to break in, Austin spread the girl's long hair in his arms and lowered his voice. "You are now mine." Chapter 974. Boom. The door was kicked open and the villains with loaded guns appeared. What they saw was the scene of the man throwing away his glasses and kissing the girl's slender white neck. Everyone. Wuxia shouted the sound card and looked at the playback. She frowned and called out the names of a few supporting actors. "Your positioning is wrong. Do it again." Xianxia was stunned for a moment before she suddenly realized. If they did it again, wouldn't they have to kiss her again? Oh, the previous scenes had been so smooth. There shouldn't be any NGs this time. Then, for the first time in history, Xianxia slapped herself in the face. This scene was shot over and over again, and there were all kinds of accidents every time. Some people forgot their lines, some laughed, and some broke the door too early. Xianxia and Shui also kissed again and again for the sake of art. After more than 10 takes, Wuxia reluctantly said that this scene was over. "Staff, I have a reasonable suspicion that Director Mu is a fan of the untimely CP. So many people on the internet are calling for head massages every day. But Director Mu is different. Can't he just do it on the spot?" To avoid awkwardness, the staff all left. Only Xianxia, Shui, and her manager, Nan, were left. Xianxia was wearing clothes under her costume to prevent her from exposing herself, but Nan still took out a pink planet bath towel and wrapped her up tightly. "Oh my, you're suffering too much." The bathtub water wasn't at a constant temperature. Later on, the water would turn cold, but she had to fall in again and again. Every time, she had to be in her best condition. It was really a great test. Recalling the scenes just now, Xianxia felt her whole body burning up. It's okay. It felt like she was in love at public expense. Nan had a bath towel in his hand. He was about to pass it to Shui when he heard the man say calmly, "You guys go out first. I'm going to take a shower." Oh, Shuringdi, I'll put the bath towel on the shelf." Nan led Xianxia out. The two of them didn't think much about it at all and even started to casually gossip. That Xianxia drama started at a high point and ended at a low point. The first 2 episodes with Yu and Shuringdi have already exceeded 500 million views. But when it reached the 3rd episode, it started to cramp. There were only tens of millions of views left, and the later episodes were even worse. I see. Anyway, I was scolded badly, especially by the female lead. Her acting is terrible. Also, she was complaining about you to her best friend and accidentally sent it to the group chat. It was exposed again, and the audience that she worked so hard to get is all gone now. Their voices became more and more distant. Shui took off his soaked jacket and shirt and turned on the cold shower. Water droplets dripped down along his high brow bone. Closing his eyes, it took him a long time to calm down his restless emotions. He was a man, not a saint. After taking a bath, Shui wiped her hair with a towel. She sensed the fluctuation in the air and narrowed her eyes, saying in a deep voice, "Come out." A crack seemed to have been torn open in the air. The first thing that came out were 2 furry airplane ears. Little White Tiger poked its head out and said obsequiously, "Lord, Fu is here to visit you." Shui said coldly, "What's the matter?" "I've sensed the whereabouts of that annoying rabbit spirit." Little White Tiger looked like it was asking for credit. "Lord, what a coincidence. She's also reincarnated in this world. Do you want me to help you locate her?" After a few seconds of silence, Shui said coldly, "No need. Rabbit spirit, fox spirit, cat spirit. No one could compare to his little tutu." Chapter 975. The man's tone was cold and Little White Tiger immediately dared not speak. All of a sudden, its ears twitched and its expression changed drastically. "Lord, I have something urgent to attend to, so I'll leave first. Call me if you need anything." Shui expressed assent and crossed her arms, watching as Little White Tiger dug in the air with its chubby paws, creating a hole. Xiao Naofu's figure could be vaguely seen at the other end of the hole. The white and soft kitten tried its best to tiptoe and open the snack cabinet, but it couldn't open it no matter how hard it tried. It was extremely aggrieved. "Atrocious! This hoo-hoo can't open this cupboard?" Sob, sob, sob. Little White Tiger flashed through the hole and hooked its tail in the air, after which the snack cabinet automatically opened. Meow. Xiao Naofu blinked, seemingly in disbelief of such a surprise. Little White Tiger's arrogant and cool voice came from the air. "Hey, what else do you want to eat?" The hole in the air became smaller and smaller, and Shui couldn't see what happened behind it. However, the man raised his eyebrows and suddenly felt sorry for little Shiji, who was still working hard to earn points in the transmigration world. She wondered if the fur on its head had an additional blue and yellow hue. The reshoots lasted for several days. Xianxia originally thought that the kiss in the bathroom was hard enough, but she didn't expect the following scenes to be even harder. The two of them almost always passed 1 or 2 scenes, but the kissing scene always required at least 10 takes. Wuxia even personally pressed their heads together and taught them how to kiss step by step. Little Bunny was so shy that she would smoke every time. As for a certain best actor, he also took plenty of cold showers. A few days later, the two of them filmed the last emotional scene. The scriptwriter added this scene to the dark moment before the climax of the film. In commercial films, the protagonists would often suffer repeated setbacks and lose everything, such as their loved ones or lovers. In addition to the intense tears, it was also to pave the way for the climax later on. In the film, Austin suddenly lost all clues and even vaguely realized that his brother's death actually had something to do with him. In other words, it was very likely that he was the one who caused his brother's death. At this moment, the big villain boss noticed Austin's intentions and personally came to kill Austin and Miss Zhang. The two of them fell into a desperate situation. At the critical moment of life and death, the two of them briefly kissed. After that, Miss Zhang pulled out her sword, which happened to be the scene that Xianxia had filmed earlier. On one hand, he knew that he might have indirectly caused his younger brother's death. On the other hand, he knew that Miss Zhang had allied with him because of the sword manual. He knew that this woman was very dangerous and could not be trusted completely, but he could not help but be attracted to her. Therefore, his emotions were very complicated. There was pain, suspicion, and love. But in the last moment, he realized that everything was because of his incompetence. He wanted revenge. He wanted to use his own method to defeat the villain. Wuxia explained the script in detail. The three of them discussed for a while before they started shooting. The wind howled. "There's a train of thought in front of us. We can't escape." The girl was still wearing her beautiful red dress, but her dress was stained with different shades of blood. "There's a way, there must be a way." The man, who had always been conceited and arrogant, said in a low and hoarse voice. "I don't think I had the chance to tell you my name." Chapter 976. Swoosh. The girl's voice stopped abruptly as she stared warily at the villain outside the secret room. The footsteps were getting closer and closer, echoing in the quiet room. They were getting closer. They were getting closer and closer. It was only a matter of time before they were discovered. But there was another secret room in this secret room. The girl made a decision almost instantly. She turned her head and looked at the young and handsome man in front of her with a sly smile in her eyes. "Then let's treat it as a secret between us forever." Austin wanted to say something, but the world in front of him was spinning. He stared at the sedative in the girl's hand in disbelief and then collapsed to the ground. Miss Zhang placed him in a small secret room and stared at him for a while before smiling and kissing him on the lips. "I'm leaving." The moment the girl turned her face away, a teardrop fell. At the same time, a teardrop fell from the corner of Austin's eye. "Cut!" After Wuxia shouted cut, the crew on set was still immersed in the sad atmosphere and couldn't extricate themselves. There was no emotional background music, no memory replays, and no editing done through post-production methods. However, the two of them relied on their acting skills to make the audience feel the sadness of parting with death. Not only the crew, but Wuxia's eyes also turned red. He blew his nose with a tissue as he watched the replays. Xianxia calmed down. She had always been quick to get into character and get out of character. She would feel sad when she was acting, but she would be fine after getting out of character. As for Shui beside her, he got into character and got out of character even faster than her. The two of them were simply the evildoers in the hearts of everyone in the crew. Xianxia was still worrying about whether to retake the scene when she heard a loud cry. Everyone looked over and saw that Wuxia couldn't control his emotions at all and was bawling his eyes out. His cries affected many people, and those who were easily moved to tears also started crying. Xianxia. Shui. The two of them looked at each other. I want to drink milk tea. Strawberry tofu milk? Less ice and 30% sweetness. Hot. It's so hot that it's soulless. Let's go to ice. Let's go to ice. The people around them. You two are heartless. Wuxia only regained her composure after Shui gave her some hot milk tea. You acted so well. You guys really brought these two characters to life. I feel like I'm not a director, but a witness. Wuxia blew her nose and said seriously, Mr. Shui, Miss Xianxia, it's an honor to work with you. Then he chuckled and said, when the movie is released, I will crazily edit both of your doujinshi videos. I have two men who have the most kissing scenes in the world. Ha 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 ha. Xianxia was a little embarrassed and pretended to look at the props next to her. Shui said calmly, don't forget to make a copy for me. Xianxia. I heard that the two of you will be working together in the future. I'm really looking forward to it. When the time comes, I'll be able to be a mixed editor. Wuxia's eyes were filled with yearning. Hence, in the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. Shui had officially finished filming and martial arts had entered the post-production stage. It was expected to be released in cinemas in China and overseas at the same time in February, which was the Chinese New Year. On the other hand, Xianxia and Shui had joined the set of another movie. Night is Coming. This time, the director was an old acquaintance, director Yan Zhenhua. As soon as Shui and Xianxia appeared, director Yan couldn't wait to get up and welcome them. Sister E, have you brought Yao? Chapter 977. All the staff members who had watched Two Under One Roof couldn't help but burst into laughter. Director Yan, so many days have passed and you're still thinking about it? Xianxia smiled and pressed a button on the car key, after which the trunk automatically rose, revealing the vacuum-packed chicken, duck, goose, pig, rabbit, fish, and shrimp inside. There was an uproar at the scene. Is she here to act or to give us warmth? Oh my God, Sister E. She's so cute. Tears flowed down the corners of countless people's mouths. Director Yan swallowed his saliva and said, after the opening ceremony, we must have a good meal. The opening ceremony of martial arts was not that particular overseas, but the local film and television industry still attached great importance to it. Today's opening ceremony would be attended by all the major media outlets. Considering the film and the exposure of Xianxia and Shui, after some communication, the opening ceremony was chosen to be held in the form of a live stream. When the official Weibo account announced the news, the entire internet was cheering. Ah, it's been 3 months. 3 months. We can finally see our little brat. Previously, when they were in small pieces, they were already engaged in 2 months. Now it's been 3 months. Shui, why haven't you married Sister E yet? Are you impotent? I heard that director Yan's son, Yan Nai, will also participate in the filming of this movie. There's also a newcomer named Rong Huai. I remember that he appeared in Small Pieces. Haha, I'm looking forward to the scene of the two younger brothers surrounding Sister E while Shui sulks. It was past 9 o'clock in the morning. Director Yan had calculated the auspicious time and signaled the staff to begin the live stream. When the live stream was opened, a large wave of netizens flooded in, almost causing the servers of the live stream platform to collapse. In the technical department of Xingchen TV, the programmers looked weary. This familiar server fluctuation. Previously, when a certain celebrity's fans claimed to be a top celebrity, they were all on high alert. However, after a long time, the server didn't even crash. However, the server was already on the verge of collapse after only 1 or 2 minutes of the live stream today. This is a true combination of two top celebrities. Director Yan announced loudly, thank you everyone, for attending the opening ceremony of Black Duck, Night is Coming. Here, I officially announce that the opening ceremony of Black Duck, Night is Coming has officially begun. The audience had a hard time trying to hold back their laughter, but the viewers in the live stream did not have so many scruples. The screen was full of, ha ha ha. I'm not laughing. I faked it. Director Yen, do you want to eat duck? Sister Yi's ducks must have been fattened up. Oh my god, look at the tributes. Other than fruits and pig heads, there's really Little Rabbit Farm's spicy braised duck. Isn't it Black Duck? After everyone offered incense, it was the media's turn to ask questions. After the reporters asked Director Yen a few questions about the movie, they immediately aimed their cameras at Shui and Xianxia. Do you two have any plans to get married? How will you balance your career and family in the future? Although the two of you aren't married yet, your fans are urging you to have a second child. Do you have anything to say about this? Xianxia replied seriously, these are spoilers I can't tell you. The more serious she was, the more everyone wanted to laugh. This series of questions was instantly resolved. However, there were still some reporters who refused to give up. We're not asking about the movie's plot, we're asking about your private lives. Xianxia retorted, since it's my private life, why should I tell you? If I don't, I won't. Chapter 978. The Reporter? The corners of his mouth twitched. He never expected Xianxia to be so difficult to deal with. Little did he know that although Xianxia was gentle, she had been pampered since she was a child. If she liked someone, she would dote on them to the heavens. If she hated someone, she wouldn't even spare them a glance. In the live stream, oh my god, Sister E is so tough. That's right, it's her private life. If she wants to talk about it, she can. If she doesn't want to, why force her to? But she's a public figure. She has the obligation to entertain the public. If it weren't for her relationship, who would pay attention to her? You guys don't think she really has fans, do you? Oh wow, there's an idiot in front. Someone's coming. Someone's finally coming. Everyone, let's report her. Unwilling to give up, the reporter went to ask Shui again. Shui, you and Sister E are 7 years apart. Sometimes, don't you feel that there's a generation gap? After all, you're so mature. He deliberately paused, implying that Xianxia was too childish. Shui smiled and said with a kind gaze, there's a poem that goes, the drizzling rain returns to dream of a distant chicken, the wind blows through the jade building. Later, it was made fun of by Feng Yanxi's greeting the Golden Gate, as blowing on a pool of spring water. You don't need me to say the rest, do you? The reporter was stunned. Ha! Why is Shui reciting a poem? How would he know what the next line of the poem was? At the scene, Director Yen had a strong literary foundation and instantly understood. He laughed on the spot and even cooperated with her. No way, right? Don't tell me there's really someone who doesn't know what the next line is? Most people didn't know, but in order to appear less ignorant, they all cooperated with Director Yen and laughed. The reporter. In the live stream, all the representatives of the Chinese class went online. I know this question. Blowing on a pool of spring water, the next line is, what's the matter? Translated from the original text, it means it's none of your business. Shuringdi's memory is amazing. Ha 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 ha, Director Yen is a god-level assistant, right? And Shui is so protective of his wife. When others mock Sister E, he immediately mocked them back. Who wouldn't love a man like him? Embarrassed, the reporter left with his tail between his legs. After he left, the atmosphere became much more harmonious. Everyone also realized that Xianxia had a good temper. As long as someone asked her about the movie, she would answer. Moreover, she had her own ideas about the script. A female reporter asked, as we all know, this movie is based on a famous novel. Everyone in the novel is evil, and only Sister Yi's role as a female doctor is a positive character. However, this character has always been hated by fans of the novel. Sister E, are you worried that the netizens will scold you for being a White Lotus saint after the movie is released? Xianxia. If there's evil, there's good. The boundary between good and evil isn't that clear. The novel chose to exaggerate for the sake of artistic expression, and the movie will continue to use this style. I think the role of the doctor is meaningful. She is not only the male lead's redemption, but also the only bright color in the original novel. She neutralizes the depressing atmosphere created by the novel. The female reporter hesitated for a moment, but still chose to tell the truth. Today, a large number of fans of the novel are boycotting you for playing the role of the female doctor. The author has yet to respond. Director Yen laughed in time. Okay, next question. At this moment, the female reporter's phone rang. She said, "Well, the author seems to have replied." Chapter 979. The original author seems to have replied. Everyone turned to look at her in unison. The viewers in the live stream also got nervous. Does the original author hate Sister E? Does he not want Sister E to play this role? The female reporter avoided the camera and glanced at her phone. Relieved, she smiled and said, "Teacher Lee's evaluation of you is like this." At this moment, some impatient netizens had already found the original author, Lee Zijuan's Weibo. They clicked on it and found that he had posted a long post a minute ago. Lee Zijuan v. I'm very lucky, because the book Dark Knight is Coming has received a lot of love from many readers, but it has also gained some fame in the entertainment industry. It has been nearly 5 years since the book was completed, and every time I think of the characters in the book, I feel very conflicted. In the book, I wanted to express the complexity and multifaceted nature of human nature. Even the absolute evildoers would have a conscience, such as the love of a priest for a doctor. Even the kindest people would have evil thoughts lurking in the depths of their hearts, such as the dream of the doctor. It was the same for the other supporting roles. Due to my personal standards and energy, I did not participate in the creation of the movie version of the script, but the screenwriter had called me many times and talked to me face to face. He put in a lot of effort into this script. I have also read the finished script, and there were several adaptations that had great effects. In short, if it were me, I would never be able to write such a script. Laughing emoji. I look forward to the director, actors, and crew bringing everyone a more perfect version of Dark Knight is Coming. Also, I think it's very inappropriate to raise the issue of the role to the actors themselves. Of course, more importantly, I'm actually a huge fan of Xianxia. Ahem. Do you think that middle-aged men don't chase after idols? You're very wrong. I've watched the entire season of Two Under One Roof. Dog Head. P.S. Director Yen, if you change the title of my book to The Black Duck is Coming Again, I'll eat all the ducks that Sister E gave you. In the past, Lee Zijuan's Weibo post would only receive a few hundred likes, but today, the number of likes exceeded 10,000. At the scene, the female reporter roughly summarized Lee Zijuan's Weibo post and the media present had an idea. Doesn't Ms. Lee mean to openly side with Xianxia? The female reporter tried her best to hold back her laughter. Our Sister E is really popular. Even Teacher Lee claims to be your big fan. Xianxia smiled. What a coincidence. I'm also a fan of Teacher Lee's books. I've read all of his books. Director Yen finished the conversation in time. I will definitely work hard and live up to the efforts of Teacher Lee and the scriptwriter. All the major media outlets sent their blessings, and the atmosphere was very harmonious. On the other hand, the netizens in the live stream were paying much more attention. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that in addition to Big Sister fans, Mommy fans, Milk Powder fans, Grandpa fans. Sister Yi's popularity is amazing. There are very few artists in the entertainment industry who can win over all age groups. She really has a bright future. It's over, all I can think about now is Black Duck, Black Duck. Is there anyone who orders X Black Duck's neck, wings and collarbone with me? The person in front, I'm crying. There's no X Black Duck near my house. There's only X flavor and X age. Hence, in addition to hashtag response from the original author of The Night is Coming hashtag, there was also hashtag increase in sales of ducknecks hashtag. The netizens exclaimed, X Black Duck has become the biggest winner? Chapter 980. All departments take note. Action! In the blink of an eye, it had been half a month since Xianxia joined the crew. Mu Si's acting style was that of an artist's. When she was inspired, the entire crew had to be prepared to work 24/7. When she was down, the efficiency of the entire crew would also be affected. On the other hand, Yan Zhenhua was different. He was trained in acting and had been working steadily all these years. He had a strong foundation in acting, directing, and acting. The filming of Dark Knight is Coming also adhered to his usual style and followed the routine step by step. Shui's performance gave him a huge surprise. In the past, Shui was talented in acting and had his own style. However, his acting style was like that of a literary film. Although it was advanced, it was not down to earth. Now, his acting was on another level. As for Xianxia, it was even more out of Director Yan's expectations. Director Yan was selfish towards Xianxia and felt that as long as the young lady acted well, it would be good enough. How could a person be perfect? Her culinary skills, medical skills, art, martial arts, and so on were already so good. It was understandable that her acting skills were mediocre. Then, he was slapped in the face by Xianxia. It was no exaggeration to say that regardless of whether Xianxia took on Shui's roles or those of the veteran actors, she could handle them with ease. In a group of scenes, the young lady's performance would not steal the limelight, but it would not be insignificant either. For the first time, Director Yan felt that someone had perfectly interpreted the word moderate. She was impartial, moderate, and did not make any mistakes. Everything was just right. Today's scene was the scene of the female doctor giving psychological treatment to the rebellious young man and the depressed young man. The rebellious young man was played by Rong Hui, while the depressed young man was played by Yan Nai. Before the two of them joined the set, they had both taken acting classes and their performances were remarkable. However, Director Yan was also worried about something. Both of them were too weak when it came to acting. When acting with veteran actors, it was very easy for them to be suppressed and subconsciously let out of character. In other words, the two of them could not take on the role of the big shots at all. However, Director Yan was very surprised by today's scene. These two rookies were actually brought into the show by Xianxia. There were many actors who could bring people into their roles. How could they bring two newcomers into their roles so quickly? He had really found a treasure this time. Today's chat ends here. The female doctor closed the medical records. She did not use the word treatment but chat, which made the two teenagers visibly more relaxed. However, when you go back, you have to take your medicine obediently, or else. The two boys stared at her warily. Stretch out your hand. If you don't listen to me, you will. The two of them immediately stretched out their hands, their bodies trembling slightly as they used their body language to express their fear. This mental hospital had always treated its patients with punitive measures. In the next second, the gentle female doctor took out 2 milk candies from the pocket of her white coat and placed them in the palms of the two youths. Then there's no candy to eat. See you next time. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys share your fun things with me. After the female doctor left, the depressed young man whispered, "She's like an angel." The rebellious youth sneered, "Boring." Although he sounded arrogant, his actions were very honest. He immediately snatched the candy from the depressed young man's hand. This scene was not in the script, and it was purely Rong Hui's own performance. However, Director Yan felt that the impromptu scene was not bad and did not stop him. Little did he know that after this movie was broadcast, his son and Rong Hui had many fans who thought they were a couple. Chapter 981. The two teenagers got into a fight over a piece of candy, which was accompanied by opera-style music. It was full of dark humor. Rong Hui and Yan Nai also became popular actors because of this movie. Of course, this was a story for another time. On the set. After Xianxia appeared on screen, she sat on a small stool with a smile and watched Rong Hui and Yan Nai act together. She felt like an old mother taking care of her children. When Director Yan shouted cut, Xianxia served the two of them a bowl of hot tonic soup. Drink more to replenish your energy. There's still a night scene tonight. Yan Nai's ears turned red shyly. Thank you, sister. You're good. Rong Hui stuck one hand in his pocket and pretended to be cold and aloof while ignoring Xianxia. As soon as Xianxia left, he immediately snatched Yan Nai's bowl of soup and gulped it down. Yan Nai jumped up and down. That's my soup. Sister gave it to me. Rong Hui said arrogantly, I've already drunk it. Should I spit it out for you? Yan Nai was speechless. He gritted his teeth and said, This is the bowl I drank from. Can you be more hygienic? Rong Hui wiped his mouth with the back of his hand and said, So what? We're all men. Don't tell me you mind that too? Yan Nai was speechless. The teenager's ears turned even redder. On the other side, Xianxia pushed open the door of the dressing room to see that Shui was resting behind closed doors. Due to the needs of the role, Shui had grown some stubble and had also lost a few kilograms. He was completely skinny. It would be a lie to say that her heart did not ache for him. As soon as Xianxia approached, the man suddenly opened his eyes and said, "I heard that you scooped soup for Yan Nai and Rong Huai? Sister makeup artist, you're too nosy." Xianxia felt helpless and amused at the same time. "There, they only have a bowl, but you have a bucket," Shui sighed softly and casually said. "Other children already have someone to serve them soup, when will I be able to have one? Don't give me that." Xianxia scolded him. She opened the heavy thermos and scooped a bowl of tonic soup for Shui. "Sure, little rascal, Sui. Sigh, the other children all have someone to feed them, I don't know when I will." All right. Have some soup." The girl scooped up a spoonful of soup and fed it to Shui. "Ah. Open your mouth." Shui took a sip of the soup and picked up the phone on the table. The screen showed that they were in the middle of a video call. Shui had muted the phone, so he couldn't hear Xiang Feng's voice on the other end. However, Xiang Feng could hear his conversation with Xiangyi clearly. In the image, Xiang Feng was so angry that he was pounding on a pillow, looking rather incompetent and furious. Shui increased the volume of his phone and smiled. "Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up." "Ah." Xiang Feng clenched his fists. "You f*** king dog of a man." Xiangyi shook her head. Men were indeed kindergartners until death. The girl waved her hand and greeted her little uncle. "Little uncle, have you eaten?" Xiang Feng imitated Shui. "Woo-woo, if Shui can have a bowl of soup, when can I have it?" Shui? Question mark. Xiangyi? Question mark. Was her little uncle gradually melting? However, other people's fake cries were all sobs, but her little uncle's cries were like the wailing of ghosts and howling of wolves. Xiangyi hesitated and said, "Little uncle, why don't you hang up?" Xiang Feng. "Huh. Oh. Your snot bubbles are coming out of your nose." Xiang Feng. Chapter 982. More than 10 seconds later. After wiping his nose clean, Xiang Feng crossed his legs and placed one hand on the armrest of the sofa, thinking that he was a cold and domineering CEO. He cleared his throat and said, "Tutu, go home after filming. I'll take your aunt home for dinner." Xiangyi's first reaction was, "Little Shiji is back?" That name successfully reminded Xiang Feng of his dark past. Marrying little Shiji. "Aw!" he exclaimed. "It's not little Shiji. It's a very beautiful girl." "Ha!" Xiangyi was astonished. "Uncle, you actually found a girlfriend?" Xiang Feng was dumbfounded. "Wait a minute, what kind of image do I have in my little niece's heart? I'm also a handsome man who loves life. Isn't it normal to have a girlfriend?" "Congratulations, uncle," Xiangyi said smilingly. "What does little auntie like to eat?" "I'll talk to grandpa and grandma. Since it's her first time here, we must treat her well." "Well, I'll get a private detective to investigate later." Oh! After ending the video call, Xiangyi suddenly felt that something was amiss. Which boyfriend would hire a private detective to investigate his girlfriend? However, Shui seemed to have thought of something and chuckled before saying a name. After all the twists and turns, it's still Sister Song. Xiangyi lamented. At this moment, a staff member knocked on the door. Shui said, "Come in." The staff member pushed the door open and reminded, "Miss Shi, it's almost time for your scenes." Shui pinched Xiangyi's little face and said, "Wait for me at the hotel, okay?" Xiangyi said, "Okay, boyfriend, all the best." Shui smiled and got up to go to the set. The staff member turned to the side and pressed down on his cap. Shui brushed past him and suddenly stopped in her tracks, feeling that there was something strange about this person. She squinted her long and narrow eyes dangerously. "Ahem, Miss Shi, it's almost time." Shui stared at him without blinking. The staff member broke out in a cold sweat and didn't dare to look at him. 1 second. 2 seconds. After a long time, Shui finally left. The staff member heaved a sigh of relief and took off his hat, revealing a fierce and sinister face. He walked into the dressing room and saw Xiangyi cleaning up the tableware. The little girl was gentle and meticulous in everything she did. She even sorted the garbage patiently. "You're the one who stole our Qianbao's female lead role?" The man's voice was low and angry. Xiangyi raised her head, her clear doe eyes calm and indifferent. The man saw that she was not surprised at his appearance. He sneered and said, "It seems that you already knew that you would have this day. If you don't do anything wrong, how can your shoes not be wet?" Xianxia couldn't help but correct him. "You seem to have used it wrongly. The next sentence is I'm not afraid of ghosts knocking on my door, and the previous sentence is I'm always walking by the river." The man was obviously choked and said angrily, "What are you showing off for? Didn't you just study for a few more years? Our Chen Bao was poor and didn't have the money to go to school. She didn't want to sleep with the unspoken rules, so you stole the female lead role. Let me tell you, I'm here today to take revenge for our Chen Bao. Now, have a taste of what real fear is." The man smiled sinisterly and went to lock the door. Xianxia reminded him, "Are you sure you want to lock the door? Do you know fear now?" With a click, the door was locked. Chapter 983. Xianxia replied, "I think you'd better open the door." The man replied, "Do you think I'll give you a chance to escape? Let me tell you, I'm prepared to go to jail today. For my Chen Bao, I don't want anything else." She was his goddess, whom he could only dream of. For her, he gave up his job as a mechanic and switched to being a stunt double. All the money he earned was hard-earned money. All the money he earned was spent on Chen Bao. For her, he bought her gifts, he picked her up from the airport. Later on, during an offline event, the goddess of his dreams actually added him as a friend. In order to earn more money for Chen Bao, not only did he become a stunt double, he also became a stunt double for a flying car. There were a few times when his life was hanging by a thread. But it didn't matter. He did his best just to let his Chen Bao live a better life. Every time he earned money, he would transfer it to Chen Bao. At first, Chen Bao didn't want it. But after he begged her, she accepted it. Soon after, she bought him a gift. An obsidian button. Although he didn't need it, it was the first gift Chen Bao had given him. Just like that, he and Chen Bao became closer and closer. In the middle of the night, Chen Bao would video call him and cry about how pitiful she was. His heart ached every time, but he couldn't do anything about it. All he could do was give her more money. This time, he really couldn't take it anymore. Xianxia was clearly living a good life. Why did she have to snatch Chen Bao's role as the female lead? No way. He wanted to destroy her. The man's fierce gaze landed on Xianxia's face and he took out a fruit knife from his back. The knife was sharp and it reflected a cold light. Xianxia slowly wrapped the thermal box with a floral cloth and tied a beautiful bow on it. "If you don't leave now, you won't have another chance." "Ha, B*TCH, who are you trying to scare? Without this face, let's see how you're going to snatch our Chen Bao's things." Before she could finish her sentence, Xianxia casually hooked the chair, and the chair smashed into the man's body with an astonishing force. F*CK. The man barely steadied himself, took out a fruit knife, and slashed it across Xianxia's face. The girl's speed was even faster than his. It was beyond the speed of an ordinary human. She grabbed his wrist backhandedly. With a twist, the fruit knife fell to the ground. The man's wrist was dislocated in an instant, and he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Xianxia asked in a friendly manner, "Do you want to continue? I can set your bones just right." "Man? If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a yes." The girl's voice was clear and sweet, and her movements were clean and efficient. Crack! The crisp sound of bones being set rang out at the same time as the man's wails. Xianxia let go of him. The man tried to move his wrist. It was really healed? I was wrong. He apologized and pretended to be timid as he retreated. However, the first thing he did was to pick up the fruit knife on the ground and throw it at Xianxia. Swish! The girl casually caught the hilt. "It seems that your apology is insincere." After saying that, Xianxia tossed the fruit knife in her hand like she was throwing a dart. The tip of the knife seemed to have grown eyes. It brushed past the man's ear and nailed itself into the door. "Man!" He hurriedly unlocked the door and tried to escape, but he realized that the door had been locked from the outside. The man suddenly had the urge to vomit blood. Who is so wicked and heartless? Below the number of words is free, lucky draw list. 16 nights, brocade koi, handsome tangerine pie. No comments. The above cuties can send a private message to Yunqi and Xiangnuan on Weibo to receive the prize. Crab, 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 crab. I'll make up for the rest of the updates. Foral, sweetheart, Good night. Chapter 984. Behind him, the footsteps were getting closer and closer. Tap, tap, tap. It was light and agile. To the man, it was scarier than a horror movie. He turned around and saw Xianxia walking towards him step by step. Her eyes were filled with horror, and her back was pressed against the door. A chill ran down her spine, causing her to break out in a cold sweat. What are you doing? Even his voice was trembling. Xiangxi's expression didn't change. She pulled out the fruit knife that was nailed into the door. Her voice was gentle and soft, and she was a little annoyed. Oh no, I broke the door. I have to replace it. The man turned his head stiffly and found that there was a hole in the door that had been nailed through. Even a sturdy wooden door could be pierced through. If it was his head instead. The man was trembling. Where was the arrogance from before? Open the door, he wailed. He finally understood what true fear was. The girl raised her eyebrows. That's why I told you not to lock the door. The man wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He finally understood that Xianxia didn't ask him not to lock the door for her sake, but for his own good. Xianxia patted his face with the back of the knife and asked calmly, Tell me, why did you come looking for trouble with me? The man's cheeks were cold, and his legs were weak. He had never been so scared in his life. He explained the whole sequence of events in detail. I did all this for Qianbao. Thinking of Qianbao's beautiful face, the man regained his strength. He looked at Xianxia with eyes full of hatred. If it wasn't for you, Qianbao wouldn't have. Xianxia couldn't be bothered to listen to his emotional speech. She went straight to the point. Director Yan hates unspoken rules and connections the most. Even Yan Nai had to go through many selections and auditions before he could play a small supporting role, not to mention a female lead role. I heard Director Yan mention that the actress you're talking about was eliminated in the preliminary stage. The reason was that her acting skills were too weak. She was given half an hour to prepare, but she didn't even remember 2 lines. There was never any shady dealings, and no one persecuted her. With Director Yan's personality, if he really chooses her to be the female lead, no one will be able to snatch her away. The man felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He was stunned for more than 10 seconds before he murmured, No, I don't believe it. The audition video was released a long time ago, but not many people paid attention to it. You should be able to find it if you search for it. The man trembled as he took out his phone. He searched for a while and found the audition video. Qianbao's performance could be described as barely satisfactory. It was already good enough. Regardless of whether it was her acting skills, her knowledge of the lines, or her ability to change her emotions, there wasn't a single thing that she could bring out. She cried for a long time, but not a single tear fell. Her eyes widened in anger, shock, and even when she saw the male lead, her eyes widened. The man fell to his knees in silence. Could it be that Qianbao was lying? No. Impossible. Why would she lie to me? Xianxia. Then take your time crying. I'll leave first. The man couldn't open the door no matter how hard he tried, but she easily opened it. After the girl left, the man pulled at his hair frantically for a long time before he realized that Xianxia was actually. She didn't argue with him? How could there be such a good thing? He was secretly relieved and was about to leave when a slender figure blocked his way. Xiangshui smiled faintly. You're bullying my little bunny, huh? With a casual tone, he closed the door. The man? Chapter 985. Xianxia carried the thermos and walked over while the crew members rushed to greet her. Sister E, it's been hard on you. Go back and rest well. See you tomorrow, Sister E. Xianxia responded with a smile. A new crew member stared at her slender back and swallowed his saliva. Wow, I realized that men aren't the only ones who are lustful. Even girls are lustful when they see pretty girls. The person beside him laughed and said, Exactly. The newcomer said, but then again, Sister E is really popular. Of course. She's pretty and polite, and she even brings delicious food for everyone. Who can resist that? Just as they were chatting, they suddenly received a notice. The stunt actor for today's flying car had skipped work, and the director was trying to find another person to replace him. The two of them hurriedly shared the post on their WeChat moments, but to no avail. Stunt actors for flying cars are rare, to begin with. It'll probably be difficult to find one at the last minute. But I heard that today's scene is very important. The car and detonation point have all been prepared. Director Yen even specially applied to the higher-ups to seal off a section of the road on the mountain. If the filming doesn't go well, we'll lose a lot of money. Everyone in the crew was similarly worried. On the set, Director Yen was so anxious that he was walking around in circles. The contract has already been signed. Why isn't that person here yet? Yen Nai was memorizing his words at the side like an obedient child. Rong Huai, who was beside him, was playing with his cell phone nonchalantly. After scrolling through a Weibo post, he sprung up. What's the matter? Yen Nai hurriedly asked upon seeing his strange expression. F***CKXK. This group of bastards X. What kind of shit is this? The young man spat out a string of vulgarities, causing Yen Nai's eyes to widen. How can you scold people? Rong Huai said angrily. Take a look for yourself. Yen Nai leaned over to look at his cell phone screen, only to see that Rong Huai had scrolled through a Weibo post in the same city. There were 0 likes and comments, but the content was terrifying. Qianbao's Night v. For Qianbao, I'm willing to do anything. My heart belongs to you. As long as you're happy, I'll ruin Xiangxia. The accompanying picture was of a pair of tattooed hands holding a fruit knife. Yen Nai's face paled. This tattoo. I've seen it before. He seems to be today's stuntman. Rong Huai's pupils constricted as he cursed under his breath, and immediately went to look for Xiangxia. Just as his long legs moved, he saw Xiangxia appear in his line of sight. Rong Huai locked his gaze on Xiangxia and heaved a sigh of relief after making sure that she was safe and sound. Xiangxia walked up to Director Yen and briefly explained what had happened between her and the stuntman. No one heard him clearly. They only heard Director Yen ask in return. The stuntman left? You're letting him go just like that? Realizing that his voice was too loud, Director Yen lowered his voice. Don't be afraid, I'll call the police now. I must seek justice for you. The staff didn't hear the rest of the words and couldn't help but whisper. So it was Sister E who asked the stuntman to leave? Is there something you're hiding? The speed at which gossip spread was even more rampant than a virus. By the time it was posted online, it had already become. Xiangxia threw her weight around and chased away the stuntman from the production team, causing the production team to suffer heavy losses. Several fans, who had long disliked Xiangxia for taking on 2 good jobs in a row, began to make sarcastic remarks. Wow, she's so arrogant. Be careful, the higher you stand, the harder you fall. Chapter 986. She's been bragging about being gentle all this time, but now she's given herself away. I knew she wasn't a good person. Seriously, don't you think Xiangxia is very scary? She's always wearing a mask, which makes her look so unreal. She can't even tolerate stuntmen. This must be her true colors. Oh my god, I heard that the crew even sealed off a section of the road for this scene. If we can't film it today, the losses will be at least 7 figures. The Spicy Tutu fans' response to this was, quietly watching you guys wreak havoc. JPG. The Shui sisters were fiercely protective of their child. AB*TCH will be punished by the heavens. Whoever badmouths Sister E is going to lose. In terms of combat power, the Shui sisters were no match for the Shui sisters even if they joined forces. For a while, they didn't dare to confront them head-on. However, it wasn't easy for them to find a flaw in Xiangxia, and they tried their best to magnify it. Xiangxia has caused losses to the crew, do you admit it? I'm dying of laughter. Who's bad-mouthing her? She's the one who did something wrong. No matter what the reason is, there are no stunt men anymore. Can she bear the responsibility? While the netizens were arguing, the crew was very harmonious. Director Yen carefully instructed someone to call the police, but he didn't forget to comfort Xiangxia. Sister E, don't feel burdened. You're completely the victim today. Don't worry. I'll pay for the losses of the crew out of my own pocket. I can still afford it. He was a director, but he was also a human being. A crime was a crime, and the culprit should be the one to blame, not the victim. Xiangxia was stunned for a moment, and a warm current flowed through her heart. She was actually very lucky to always meet such a gentle person. The girl blinked and asked, "Stuntmen? Excuse me. Can I try it?" A few minutes later, the entire crew was in an uproar. Have you guys heard? Sister E volunteered to be in charge of the stuntmen today. Sister E is so delicate and weak. Has she gotten her driver's license yet? How can she do such a dangerous thing? That's right. How can a girl do such a thing? Under everyone's watchful eyes, Xianxia opened the car door and sat in the driver's seat, not forgetting to fasten her seatbelt. The car window rolled down, and the young girl stuck her head out and said to Director Yen, "I only know a little bit. Please take a look at the effect first. If it doesn't work, we can think of another way together." Director Yen looked like a worried father. "Sister E, it's too dangerous. Be good. Get out of the car first. Even if I have to go racing, I can't let you go." His nagging was silenced by the roar of the engine. The modified car had a lot of horsepower. Once he stepped on the accelerator, he would be able to drive faster than anyone else. There were a lot of bends on this mountain road. Even an experienced driver wouldn't dare to drive too fast. However, not only was Xiangyi's speed fast, but when she passed the first bend, the car drew a beautiful arc and easily drifted through the bend. Everyone! What the F***CK? Was it drifting? Am I right? Sister E actually knew how to drift. Not only that, the girl also showed off some drifting, straight drifting, pressure jumping, air jumping, tail swinging, side sliding, and other racing techniques. Director Yen clutched his heart tightly, and his expression gradually became dazed. This was called only knowing a little bit. Chapter 987. Screech. The tires rubbed against the ground and came to a sudden stop. Xianxia alighted from the car. Seeing that everyone was silent, she curled her finger guiltily. "Did you guys see that I made a mistake when I did the jump just now? Huh. I haven't practiced in a long time, so I'm a little rusty. Why don't I do it again? I think I should be able to perform better." Everyone seemed to have woken up from a dream as they looked at Xianxia in a different light. Big boss. She's the real big boss. Big boss. She's the real king. Especially the female crew members, their eyes were filled with stars. Indeed, when a girl is handsome, men have nothing to do with her. Seeing that the girl wanted to do it again, Director Yen hurriedly persuaded her. "No, no, no. Good. Very good. Very good. Sister E, I didn't expect you to be so good at hiding your skills. You're comparable to a professional racer. Beat up that stunt actor who skipped work." Everyone was speechless. Did that stunt actor skip work because of himself? At the side, Yen Nai's tone was full of admiration as he whispered to himself, "Sister is so impressive, just like an actress in a movie." "Idiot, she's an actress, all right?" Rong Hui pretended to look at the birds flying in the sky and whistled like a ruffian. He said proudly, "Her driving skills are so not too bad." At this moment, Xianxia and Director Yen were done talking and walked towards the two of them. "Rong Hui, is it convenient for you to lend me your jacket?" The arrogant little wolf cub immediately straightened his back. The young man's ears turned red as he stammered, You want to wear my jacket?" Xiangyi nodded. "Yes." Director Yen changed the script at the last minute. "I'm in charge of playing the role of the villain, and the character is rebellious. We think that your style of clothing is more suitable for this role. Sister wants to wear my jacket." Rong Hui felt as if he had drunk 2 kilograms of fake alcohol and was rolling on cotton candy. I. Xiangyi misunderstood his meaning. It's okay if it's inconvenient. I'm sorry to have put you in a difficult position." She had seen people who were obsessed with cleanliness when she had transmigrated. They couldn't even stand a speck of dust. Therefore, she fully understood that everyone would have different feelings towards the same things. She felt that it did not matter whether Rong Hui lent her the money or not, and she did not think that Rong Hui was in the wrong. "Xiangyi, I'll discuss it with the stylist. If it doesn't work, I'll go to the mall and buy one." Before she could finish speaking, Rong Hui hurriedly said, "No. I'm not making things difficult for you. I'm willing to borrow it." The youth began to take off his jacket on the spot, and even placed his hand on his black belt. Yen Nai, who was beside him, coughed loudly. "Hey, sister is a girl. Be careful." Only then did Rong Hui sober up. The little wolf cub's ears turned red, and it wished it could dig a hole and bury itself in it. What was he doing? He actually unbuckled his belt in front of his sister. Destroy this world. Xiangyi turned around the moment he took off his jacket. She said, "The jacket is fine. Thank you." Rong Hui was so embarrassed that he threw his jacket at her and ran away. Yan Nai couldn't help but laugh out loud. However, Xiangxia suddenly patted his shoulder. The girl said gently, "Well, I'm going to start filming soon. I heard that the two of you have a good relationship. Can you please coax Ronghuai for me?" Yan Nai. Huh? When he met Xiangxi's gentle and clear eyes, he swallowed the thousands of reasons that were at the tip of his tongue. Okay, I'll listen to you, sister. Chapter 988. In an empty corner. Ronghuai squatted in the corner and pulled up his sweater. He then tightened the rope with a swoosh as the scene of social death replayed in his mind. He actually took off his pants in front of sister. Took off his pants. His pants. Suddenly he heard a gentle and obedient voice. "Ronghuai, are you all right?" Ronghuai looked up and saw that it was Yan Nai. He said arrogantly, "What are you doing here?" "You're a model student." 2 days ago, Yan Nai had received the Model Student Award and happily shared it with him. However, Ronghuai felt that he was showing off. After all, let alone being a good student, he had never even received a positive labor award or a helpful award since he was young. "I'm here to coax you," he said matter-of-factly. Ronghuai was dumbfounded. "Coax? I'm a man. Do I need this?" Yan Nai took out a piece of candy from his pocket. Although he couldn't bear to part with it, he finally made up his mind and handed it to Ronghuai. "Here, sister's candy. Have it." Ronghuai was flabbergasted. What the hell? Could it be that this 3-merit student had some inappropriate thoughts about him? Yan Nai smiled, unaware that the little wolf in front of him had already imagined dozens of dramatic scenes. On set. Director Yan confirmed again. "Sister E, have you really made up your mind?" Xiangxia said. "Yes." Director Yan was still a little worried and got the crew to check the car inside and out again to make sure that there were no problems with the accelerator and brakes. "We'll get ready to begin then." Director Yan then instructed, "If there are any problems, stop immediately. Don't force yourself, got it?" In Yan Zhenhua's heart, the movie was important, but human lives were more important. He couldn't do something that only cared about the movie's effects and didn't care about the safety of the actors. Xiangxia adjusted her mask and wig and started the car. After the makeup artist's skillful makeover, she now looked like a thin and rebellious teenager. Her short, flaxen hair accentuated her fair skin, and she leaned her elbows lazily on the steering wheel while tapping rhythmically. "Let's try to get this scene done in one take. Is everyone confident?" Director Yan began to mobilize them. Everyone at the scene said, "Of course." "Okay, action." When they heard Director Yan's command, the cars started a chase. Shoot the racing scene first, then edit the scenes inside the car. The effect would be better if they edited it later. The cars used for this scene were not cheap. In the end, one of them had to flip over and another one exploded. It was a test of the budget. Everyone was well aware that there was almost no possibility of a second chance. Other than Xiangxia, the other drivers were all stunt performers and had rich experience. Everyone was worried about whether Xiangxia could finish this long shot under such high pressure. But what was shocking was that Xiangxia made 0 mistakes. Drifting, heel toe, tangent passing, attacking and defending in a roundabout way, jumping in the air. The series of predetermined movements were completed flawlessly. In comparison, it was the special effects actors who made some small mistakes. Schwa, the last scene was when Xiangxi's car stopped in front of the main character's car, forcing him to brake. The rebellious and unruly youth raised his head and whistled nonchalantly. His smile was ruffian and lazy. Then, he extended his middle finger and made an international friendly gesture. Director Yan shouted, "Cut!" And screams of the female staff members instantly erupted from the scene. Ah! Director Yan? Chapter 989. Wait a minute, what was wrong with these young ladies? He could understand why they were screaming at male celebrities. But why were they screaming at Sister E? The assistant director tried to stifle his laughter and said, "Young ladies nowadays don't necessarily like men. When a female celebrity is handsome, male celebrities will have nothing to do with her." Director Yan looked like he had experienced the vicissitudes of life. "I really don't understand the young world anymore." The moment Xiangxia got out of the car, she was surrounded by female crew members. "Ah, hubby, drink some water." "Hubby, are you tired? You must be feeling hot wearing a wig. Let me wipe your sweat for you." Hubby, I have energy bars here." Do you want one to fill your stomach? When Shui arrived at the set, he saw his little bunny being surrounded by everyone. Little bunny was holding a bunch of food and drinks in her arms. There were girls wiping her sweat and holding her drinks. There were even girls who were blowing at her with a small fan. Hubby, can you call me wifey? Boo-hoo, Shui. ? He suspected that there was something wrong with his ears. The next second, he heard his little bunny lowering her voice and switching from a sweet young girl's voice to a lazy young man's. Wifey, what else do you want to hear, huh? Hence, the screams became even louder. Ah, hubby, I love you. Shui. Director Yen seemed to have noticed Shui's confusion and wanted to watch the show. You didn't expect that apart from men, there are also so many female rivals in love. Shui smiled. Rivals in love are just rivals in love. They only have one boyfriend. Director Yen, who used to treat Xianxia as his daughter-in-law, felt inexplicably stifled. He changed the topic. Why are you so late? Weren't you always the Amarok when Sister E was filming? Shui said casually, I was dealing with the garbage. Oh, you're quite particular. But garbage sorting is very important. I'm preparing to shoot an environmental documentary after this film. Let me tell you, environmental protection is too important. Director Yen kept nagging. Shui lazily took out a lollipop. In this movie, his character had a smoking scene, and his addiction to smoking was aroused again. In order to quit smoking, Xianxia prepared a lollipop for him. After talking for a while, Director Yan's throat was dry. He picked up the thermos and drank some water. Puzzled, he asked, How long have you taken out this candy? Why aren't you eating it? Is it scalding your mouth? Shui smiled without saying anything. Coincidentally, Xianxia walked over. She still had the appearance of a rebellious youth, but her temperament and eyes were completely different. She was rebellious and unruly in the drama, but now she was gentle and soft. Pitiful Sui. Sister E can't open it. Director Yen was speechless. Let me. Xianxia held the bottom of the bag and squeezed it hard. The bag made a bang and the seal opened automatically. The girl smiled and put the candy into his mouth. Is it sweet? Director Yen was speechless. He had lost. He had lost. He knew Shui was a dog, but he didn't expect Shui to be such a dog. Director Yen walked away silently. He didn't know if the lollipop was sweet or not, but he was already full of dog food. He habitually took out his phone. When he saw Xianxia being accused of acting like a diva, Director Yen frowned. How dare they slander Sister E? Sister E almost became his daughter-in-law. Rounding it up, he was Sister Yi's father. Just wait. Haters, your daddy fan is here. Smiley face. Chapter 990. On the internet, the netizens who were surfing the internet felt that today's drama was a little boring. There was no solid evidence at all. They really wanted to see a drama with solid evidence. It would be best if it was something like Thor's hammer. Then, the fool came. Someone saw the Weibo account of the stuntman and quickly tagged the gossip account. After being reposted by several entertainment celebrities, the post appeared on the homepage of countless people. All of a sudden, there was a huge uproar. Damn, he ruined Xianxia? He's even holding a knife? Ah, what happened to Sister E? Did the production team call the police? Huh? So it's not that Sister E is throwing her weight around and chasing him away, but that stuntman is the one who's problematic. Of course, there were also people who were still trying to defame Xianxia. No matter what, it's an indisputable fact that the stuntman has caused losses to the production team, right? He might just have posted something on Weibo. He might not have really done anything. Can't he just say it? He's affected the progress of the production team and caused major losses. How can he clear his name? How can he chase someone away just because of a Weibo post? If this isn't throwing her weight around, what is it? It's just like how someone calls Shui her husband on Weibo. Does Xianxia have the right to think that the other party is a homewrecker? The Weibo posts made the Shui sisters fly into a rage. Even Spicy Tutu, who had always been passive, couldn't take it anymore. Even a rabbit would bite when it was cornered. Hence on this day, the entire fanbase witnessed Spicy Tutu's combat prowess. She presented facts, reasoned with them, gave examples, wrote jokes, sang raps, created emoticons, and compared them in Chinese, English, French, and other languages. It could be said that there was a storm of blood on the internet, and the fans were dumbfounded. It was as if Tutu had gone to war and left no survivors. Even Shui sisters were stunned. Are they still the same bunch of rabbits who can't even be bothered to vote? How can they be so fierce? I suddenly feel that Shui isn't the only one who can't do it. Neither can Shui sisters. Spicy Tutu's anger shut those haters up. What really changed the public opinion was director Yan's Weibo post. As a famous director in the country, he also liked to use Weibo. He also had millions of fans on Weibo, which was more than some of the B-list and B-list celebrities. Yan Zhenhua v. To clarify 2 points. First, Sister E did not put on airs. Second, Sister E did not cause any losses to the crew. Also today, I found out that Sister E knows a little flying car stunt. I want to share it with everyone. I hope you like it. Yan Zhenhua had uploaded a video of Xianxi's first test drive. There wasn't much of a storyline, and the shots were the most ordinary shots. However, Xianxi's racing skills were already amazing. The netizens were speechless. You call this a little bit? It's clearly 100 million dots. F***CK? So Sister E also has racing skills? Is there anything Sister E can't do? Ha ha ha, I can hear the girls screaming at the scene, and some are even calling for their hubby. They're practically shouting my heart out. My husband is so handsome. The official fan clubs and fans of Xianxi's who were competing with her also gave instructions. They could provoke anyone except Xiangxi. This wave of face slaps that could be described as lightning speed made the netizens play a joke. Magical girl Xiangxi had the glorious beauty halo, the team pet halo, and the 100% face slapping halo. Her talent skills were as follows: God of Cooking LV. 9.99, Medical Sage LV. 9.99, Art LV. 999, Sports LV. 9.99, Force LV. 999. In short, she was a max-level big shot. Chapter 991. After the post was posted on Weibo, Xiangxi's fans went into another frenzy. Previously, most of them were foodie fans, sister fans and mommy fans. But this time, they were all girlfriend fans and wifey fans. There were even many popular fans who rebelled on the spot and went to Spicy Tutu's house. The comments under Xiangxi's Weibo had also changed. Sister E is so cute. Brother E is so handsome. What should I do? Sister E or Brother E are confessing to me at the same time. Waiting online. It's urgent. My wife is Sister E, and my husband is Brother E. I'm so blessed. Good night, Xiangxi. Good night, hubby. Jumping between mommy fans and wifey fans without any obstacles. However, before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. Just as Xiangxi was crazily gaining fans, someone suddenly exposed a huge piece of news on the internet. Hashtag Shui is cheating. Hashtag when the netizens saw this trending topic, they immediately jumped up and down like bees in a melon field. The programmers of Weibo's technical department all received a call, asking them to immediately prepare for server maintenance no matter where they were. The netizens clicked on the trending topic and found that someone had uploaded a photo. Recycled star. Sob 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 sob. The attached photo was a group photo of the tall and burly Shui talking to a thin young man. The two of them formed the most adorable height difference, and at first glance, it was quite pleasing to the eye. However, the netizens were all in an uproar. Cheating? Shui, you're heartless. There are no more CP fans. Damn it, Shui, you scumbag. I heard that a house had collapsed, so I wanted to come over and take a look. I didn't expect it to be my house that had collapsed. Smile. Although this young man only has a side profile, I think he's really good looking. His face is definitely not inferior to Sister Yi's. My heart aches for Sister E. There was chaos on Weibo. Some people were crying, some were gloating, and some were munching on melon seeds to watch the fun. Until someone suddenly discovered a blind spot. Well, don't you think that this young man's figure is similar to Sister Yi's? The lines on his side profile are also similar. This guess immediately made the netizens come up with even more ideas. Brainhole 1. This is Shuringdi's true love, the white moonlight. Sister E was just a substitute. He was just a substitute. Brainhole 2. Someone deliberately found a boy who looked like Xianxia to frame Shi. It was just a publicity stunt. Brain hole 3. Xianxia has always been a man dressed as a woman. She is not she, but he. But this time, he accidentally exposed his true gender. It's just the truth. There was also brainstorming 4, brainstorming 5. By the time Xianxia and Shi heard about Anan, the netizens were already imagining that the two of them had been possessed by aliens and that they were about to infect all of humanity with the virus in the next second. Then, aliens would rule the earth. In the video call, Anan shrugged. That's pretty much it. Sichuan Bai, who was beside him, rubbed the space between his eyebrows. The trending topic has been removed. Do you need the company to make a statement? Anan asked. Do you want to make a statement that the two of them aren't aliens? Xianxia. Question mark. Shi. Question mark. Sichuan Bai adjusted his glasses. The gold medal manager who had always been strict and indifferent had learned how to flatter. That's a good idea. It's worth learning from. Really? Anan said embarrassedly. It's not that impressive. If it can help you, Mr. C, that would be great. Xianxia. She silently hung up the video call.